our champions. They lost to
大丈夫
the
か
super
な
team. Like, this is what G2 keep doing. They keep building the best
大丈夫
roster available to them. They pick players
あ
from
の試合
different
見
teams
た
all
後に
over
さ
the place. And you know what, Mitch? But we're getting right into our
変
pistol
な試合
round,
し
so
ないでな、
I'm
ほん
gonna
ま。
be quiet.
Now let's just be quiet for this one. No, I'm kidding. Magnum already taking a little bit of contact right off
本
the
当に変な
bat.
試合しないで
See
な。
the turret pop down, so they've got a little bit of retreat power, right? He can fall back without worrying about
ティア
someone
2クラブみたい
pushing
な
up
試合
on him.
してんだよ
Realizing
な、
that
ほんまに。
engagement probably not one he wants to take off
マ
the
ジで。
bat. Coming into 115 on the clock, Wave have had their aggression up A. They've got good control right now.
HAD
This
かぶっ
setup
てんで
still
したの。
requires two players because you need someone to be watching Belt this whole time. For
お
the
互い
raid
バ
down
イ
below,
パ
which
ー
means they can't
レイ
stack
ジの
up
ライ
B
ンが違う
even
の
though
か。
they suspect the hit to be coming in there.
オーバー違うんだ。へえ。カイ、ソーバー、レイナ・セイジか。あら強い、死んだー。でも死ぬ。どういうこと避けてはいたのかな。このゲーム光線距離近えな。このゲーム光線距離近えな、こう見ると。
Yeah, you know what, Tom? I'm
クラシック
gonna
強えな。
jump in that boat with you.
ゴースト買う必要性
You're
な
might
く
be
ね
able to catch one as they come out through a middle. Oh, but they're oh, what a nice little flick! That was beautiful. But now they know where he is, and at this stage, his chances decrease significantly. We need quick headshots. We need big whiffs coming out of the side.
いいですね。
Fnatic, and it ain't happening. So
いいぞ。
1-0 we go. The pistol goes to Fnatic. Honestly, Tom, I want to get your take on this. Map 2 being Breeze. Do you think that this is Fnatic being caught off guard, or you think they've put in heavy prep?
このゲームよくわかんないんだけどさ、結局無理な取り返しはしないでセーブでいいんかね。アーツよくわかんないんだけど。セカンドバイはオスバイはあんまりしないでハーフ負けた側は。バッタ側はスペクター多めだけどゴーストダブル。この前 G2 戦だとフナティックスペクターオールだったよね。SMG オール。意外がよくわかんない。
This is also one more thing, Tom, because obviously we've been doing the open qualifiers. We've just been on the server, or our observer has been. Now we have that beautiful UI back. We can see the weapons, the abilities left.
So much.
Really, honestly, it's like a Christmas present getting to use this again. And because of that, we can see that there's just classics into this round. There's basically
綺麗に勝てたからなのかな。
and we don't expect them to get much done. But despite that,
逆だよ。すぐわかんない。
I feel like he's the kind of guy that can come out with a couple kills. You know what I mean? A few right clicks up close, and there is a player right down below.
レオ5?
He's the one who might be doing something a little bit cheeky here, unfortunately.
リロードしながら前で取れやないか。
He's actually a really almost interesting character when it comes to this roster because when we saw him previously, let's go all
なんか
the
普通
way
に勝て
back
そう。
to right in the beginning of challenges where we first saw them, where we even saw them upset Fnatic.
でもわかんないけど
He was
さ、
a jet one trick. I think that's
フ
the
ァースト
only
ラウ
way
ンド、
to
セカン
really
ドラウ
bring
ンドで
down
さ、
as
1キルしか取れないと
a player
さ、
within the CD
なんかもう
players.
試合にならなくないって感じするよ
That
ね。
was all we saw.
FPS で。
Whenever we saw the agent select come up, we were like, don't worry guys, Carcass is picking jet. Now he's almost like a Swiss Army.
まあ一応セカンドラウンドハーフバイってかほぼエコだったからサードバイがっつりしてくるからウェーブ側は。ここでちょっと怖いけど。HAD 出てねえぞ。
I've realized as well that as I said, this is going to be an easy series for Fnatic. I really hope it is now because otherwise I feel like my curse is genuinely going to be real. And then I'm getting in trouble.
だいぶ強気な特殊スクリーン貼ってるね。ウェーブ側。
Yesterday, Mitch predicted 4 teams.
だいぶ強気だね君。これも完全に特殊スクリーン腐ったけど守り側の。抜いた。ダーゲ君頼むで。お前クネ当てないよなほんまに。クナイはお前当てんのかオペレーター当てんのかどっちだっけお前とにかく当てねちょっと頼んでかっこいいとこ見せてくれやあ、いいですねいいですねエリア大きく取ろう死んだ
obviously looking at Fnatic as a bonus, but
はい
they're
よ
still getting some damage done,
3
making their way towards the site with
落
30
ち着いて
seconds on the clock. It's time to plant.
きついなしょうがない
There's two players down this
30
alley
秒
ready to spam through that
今
green
謙虚に
box.
多分設置しようとしてもきつかったからね キル上死んでなかったし
And it looks like they might just have to go for a decently open one. In fact, trying to bait out utility and sprays at the very beginning and leaving Dirk
いいね
for a kill. That's
ダー
beautiful
ケ
stuff
君
in
いい
this
じゃ
fight.
ん
Still
あきつい
not down. The problem hasn't been solved.
あきつい
And now Dirk
あ
is
きつい
all
あいく
alone. No,
あ
the right
ダーケ君
click into a
ダー
dismiss
ケ君
Reyna. He
あきつい
loses his knives and loses his lives. That is going to be 2-1. Wave answering up here. But this
まあまあ
was a
まあまあ
bonus
まあ
round
まあ
for
まあまあ
Fnatic
まあ
Tom,
まあ
and
まあ
all
まあ
things
まあサードバイだ
they
から
did pretty well.
サードバイだからサードバイだから
GO のゲームカテゴリーでバロ観戦とはこれいかに。
あすいません
The
すいませ
thing
ん
is, you call that a bonus,
Doesn't-
right? Because it is.
Doesn't-
Technically, in terms of
Doesn't-
finances, that is a bonus. When Dirk has Blade Storm,
え俺買え
I
なかっ
don't
た
count that as a
警察だ。
bonus anymore. Like, it's not fair. The
買
man
いま
is
す
too
すいません
Violet 61 CSG OIR Violet 61 CSG OIR
あれこれどこだあーあったあったあったすいませんすいませんほんとそれはすいませんほんと怒られる
Violet 61 CSG OIR Violet 61 CSG OIR
good
Doesn't-
individually.
それ
Also,
は
we
もう
then
本
have
当
to
すい
talk
ま
about how many
せん
kills
怒ら
he
れ
got
怖
in
い
the
人に
first
怒られ
couple
て
of
る
rounds to be able to afford that now, because we know that it's up to 7 orbs, which is a little bit more
Let's go,
difficult to get.
Fnatic.
The fact that he even has that in round number 3, a little bit absurd, but you know what? That is
まあ
Dirk
負けんやろ
on this box.
どこやねん
He's
ウェイブっ
almost
て
like that loose cannon
波
that
描
is
いてるやん
just sent in to try and start things off for Fnatic.
サードバイ負けたあたりちょっとね怖いよバレてるよなんかよくない2人目大丈夫あ怖い怖い怖い怖い怖い怖いちょっと弱いのやめないちょっと弱いのやめないちょっと弱いのやめないきっちりきっちりちょっと弱いのやめない本当に2、3発外して頭当てるのやめて
And the flash is about to come back online. In
Pika?
fact, the Seekers used to buy that space.
ああいいね甘い甘い浅いです浅いですねいいっすねはいはいいいよミスティックちゃんいいよ
It almost seemed like even though they used the Seekers,
Ah,
they
yes.
still kind of questioned where Mystic was going to be. It's like the ultimate
Yes.
itself tells
ほ
you
ら
where they are.
キル取れてない
Now,
雑魚おりますわ相手に
Speaking a little bit to the side of Wave, I almost feel like the reason they're playing Sky in almost every single scenario is because they've realized that there is
Oh.
now an ability to almost
Oh.
abuse that
Oh.
agent in a lot of cases.
Oh.
Like that ultimate,
正
I'm
気
gonna
か
go ahead and say it. I don't think it should be 6 orbs. Like I feel like that's ridiculous. Like especially later on, we'll probably see Murray play it. How often do you think he's going to be able to get 6 kills? I think quite regularly. So it almost seems a little bit silly
いいね
that they're able to get that so
ミスティックいい
quick.
ね
And I wouldn't be surprised to see
ミスティ
more
ックいいよ
duelists actually switching up, so they can just
も
have
うこれ
information each
さらっと
round.
さらっといこうジャンプサッカーどうかってこれ
information
入れてるよねそうね ああいいねこれ右左いるの分かって2確定おおこれまあまあクラシックだから分かんないのがさこれアーマーも削られない方がいいのかどうもー危ないアーマーも削られた方がいいのかなこのゲームこのゲームマジで難しいよなこのゲームさカジュアル向けに作ってるとかさもう絶
He has
対
a
ない
couple
よ
more clips there. Can spam off a few more right clicks.
分かりやすさ
Maybe
ゼロだ
actually
からな
win that round. I don't
アーマー
think it's gonna
削れ
be
たら
happening.
買い
I
直し
do
と
want
か
to premise this by saying
マネー
that
コントロール
I
複雑
don't
す
think
ぎ
this
か
is
よ
a
って感じだよ
particularly good map for Wave, just in
わ
general.
かんねえ
Like
の
we've
これ
seen them try
み
this
んな買い直して
specific
んな
comp where they bring in
でも買い直しかまあそうだよな
and that was against
まあ
one
そう
of
だ
the
よな
earlier teams they played within the qualifier. So if you're thinking that Fnatic are heavy favorites in general on this map, if Fnatic don't
いい
win it,
の
I think that that's a massive turnaround for Wave.
あ
Like,
いい
that would
ね
be a
いい
huge
ね
upset
この
victory. Next map though
ダ
is
ブ
where
ダブル
things
ピック
should
ダブルピ
get
ッ
a
ク
little bit more
一人ピ
interesting.
ック
Carcass though, as
一
said,
人ピ
this
ッ
is
ク
where he's a little bit more aggressive, more of a duelist, more of a
味
fighter
方のお
for this
前
squad.
あれや
And
ない
he's
か
got
い
his trusty operator in play and already got things off to a
ダブルピッ
decent
ク
start.
はいはいはい通ってああなるほどはいはいはいはいはいいいねはいはいいいよはいいいよはいはいいいよそれ はい、200
今の
IQ。
頭いい。
はい、200 IQ。
55 seconds on the clock and a man advantage. Plenty to work with here, and it looks like they're going to allow Durka to have a little bit of. Oh no!
危ないよ、危ないよ、危ないよ。はい、浅い。はい、浅い。
That's a nice little two-man advantage and a spike plant with a Viper's pit to protect.
いいね。
Yeah, I think
これ
they
も
just
積
planned
み
around
シチュエーション
what
ですね。
ultimate they were actually going to use in this round. They had so many available to them on that side that just completely ends the round. And
ワ
I
イパーは
think
これが
realistically,
強いよ
Wave
ね。
are already starting
強
to
いっていう
try
か、
and back.
なんか、
That was from up on top.
Was that just?
はい、終
That
わ
was
りって感じだ
I
よね。
thought he just shot him straight through the pit. I was thinking that that would have just been unreasonable if he'd done that.
Most
but,
random angle.
all right, that's fine. It does seem like for Cider though, this might be a little bit of a
Switch
tougher
kake?
task. They're going to hunt him down because financially, Fnatic in a pretty damn good
倒し
spot.
に来た
The
そう
only
だな。
round lost their bonus, and even that
無理じ
they
ゃね？
dropped Wave down to just 2 players. But they're actually not going to find him. So you know
ま
what?
あ、こ
He
れ
gets away
は
with
なんかよくわかんない
Does
ね。
something
ウ
at
ェー
least.
ブ側が、
Yeah, I mean, it's a
ま
small
あ、今のは
consolation
で
for
もオ
Cider.
ペレーターで
But
B
that
ロング
spam
守ら
would
せ
have been
て、
incredible had it have been
バイ
through
パー
the
のト
Viper
キシッ
pit. I
クス
had
ク
to
リーンに
glance
関
at
して
the
は
minimap for a
完
second
全
just to
に
be like,
放置したの
wait,
か。
he is on
バイ
top,
パーの
right?
トキシックスクリーン B に毎回貼ってるから、てかフナティック確かずっと貼るから、
You're looking at a pretty
これに対してカウンター
significant
で
lead for Fnatic. If they manage to claim
トキシッ
this
クスクリー
round,
ン、
Wave will be in
ま
the
あ貼るよ
driver's
ね。
seat.
そうだよね。
They need it
貼
right
って
here.
くるね、ワイパ
And
ー。
the good
相
thing
手
to
の。
look at is Carcass. He has that Blade Storm online, and we've already seen the insane impact versus a full buy that Durka was able to yield with the Blade
この
Storm.
貼り方、
Durka has it too, so we might have a Blade
どれほど
battle
だっけ？
coming
なん
in.
かあんまよくねえな。
Yeah.
開幕バイパー貼らない。ほ
God. We call that the head triangle
ドー
because
キ
normally
君、
it
ど
benefits
れ
the
も
player
で
on the
き
defender
るよ。
side, but when you're up against Durka, it only gives him the head to aim at,
どう
and
だ
this
ったの
man
この前の
doesn't
試合
miss
は。
an easy opener to
あ、
start.
G2
He's already
に対
started
し
to
て、
sneak through, and actually,
こう、あれ
Wall might
抜い
end
た
up hurting the
あ、抜い
opposition. It's going to be his teammates
お前
to
じゃ
pick
ない
up
の
the
か。
final kills, and
キル
sure,
お
he's
前じゃ
lost
ないん
all
か、
his
今の。
knives, but
抜いた
Wave have already lost the round. It makes no difference.
中身違
Before
う
the
でしょ。
spike even touches the floor, the
替
round
え
is
玉、
over.
替え
Wave
玉。
saving these weapons right
替
off
え
the bat.
玉
As we
疑惑
mentioned,
で
a
しょ。
loss in this round puts their economy in the dumps, and at 6 to 1
こ
down,
れに
you're
関
not
しては
going
相
to
手
throw
がちょ
two
っと試合
rifles
になって
at
な
a
さそう。
2v5. What I will say though is Fnatic's economy is pretty good. They could go and hunt these guys down if they want to, and I think at this point, Spidey senses start to tingle. You start to realize these guys, they're not really coming for this, are they? And you know that they have rifles, so the worst thing, you know, you give them a Vandal, they already have one. Sometimes it is better to just carry the weapons through, but curious to see
I
if
guess
they
if
go.
you're Fnatic at this point, like sure taking the weapons is always going to be valuable, but at the same time, Wave haven't really put up much resistance. Like there's been a kill or two.
Yeah.
That's basically been it.
これ、ウェー
This
ブ
was a
側がアル
flawless
ティメッ
round.
ト溜ま
Like,
ってるんだけ
yeah,
ど、
sure, you
使っ
could
て、
run in,
ラ
but
ウンド
maybe
取れ
you
て
give
ない
them
から、
some ultimate orbs.
結
And
局、
I would
相
almost
当
say
きつ
that
そう。
it almost sounds a bit harsh,
今
but
止まった
I
の
think
か
the
な？今止
ultimates
まってたん
might
だったらご
actually
めん
be
だ
the
けど。
bigger threat at this stage because just them having rifles, they're just running
言う
over
て今
them.
6
They're
で
just
すめ。
walking through rounds.
あ
You're
ー、い
looking
や、
at
でも今止ま
Durka
ったわけ
with
じゃねえな、多
an
分。
average combat score of almost 400.
相当辛そうな。
God. It just seems obscene when
今
you say
7ラウンド目だからね。
400 combat score. If he can finish on that, I'd be setting records or coming close to it.
あー、でもレイナ入れちゃってるあたりさ、レイナはマジ好きっつうんだけどさ、当てるもんだからさ。
themselves up that operator thanks to the blade storm in the previous round. There's an opportunity, and there's the opening kill. In fact, that's the spike drop. But Nico gets spammed right back through the tube.
やるね。
The man advantage sits to Fnatic. They've got a lockdown and
ど
a
うしたお
Fury
前ら
to play
強
with.
いやん。
And they're running right
なん
towards
だっ
that
たお
B
前の
side.
G2 マジ
Poor
で。
old Zeke is just waiting away with a bull. Weakest weapon in play might have to be the strongest on this hold.
気引き締まったか？
Zek would have to pull off some sort of miracle. He does have a rotation coming in from Carcass, but I just think it's going to be too late. You've got the nano swarms trying to slow him down, information also being garnered, so Carcass having to use the small amount of smokes he has to actually just keep himself alive, and Durka is just the gatekeeper at this point. Carcass has found himself at least something to maybe give them an avenue back into this round, and you can see Cider just trying to hold on the flank, but there are now
一
two
応
players
挟まれ
just
て
holding to make sure that he can't get anything done.
Yeah, it's hard to imagine that this one works out. Cider on the way up. If he gets the first, the trade should be
まあ、
there.
打ち下
And
ろ
in
しだ
fact,
から大丈夫だ
it's
と思うけ
very
ど。
rare you'd even check the angle. The Magnum is on. He goes out
そうね。
staring at it.
踏ん
And
で
it
る
comes
から。
down to a 1 versus 2. If time wasn't such an issue, this would probably be winnable for Carcass.
打
But he
撃抜
also
かれ
doesn't
ちゃっ
want to
た
be
けど、
losing
ま
that
あ。
operator and running through the middle.
キルジョイのおお。まあまあまあまあまあまあまあまあまあまあまあまあまあまあまあまあまあまあまあラウンドだから。金あるんでね。金余ってんで。
I think in this case they realize, okay, well, if we get rid of the operator, then he can't buy one in the next round, so it's worth just throwing a few weapons into the wind. But yeah, thus far it just seems like Fnatic have a superb read on everything that's going on. Like they're countering a lot of the initial aggressive plays that Wave are trying to make.
Okay, and
you can understand now why Wave are trying to make them 6-1 down. Okay, let's take some initiative. Let's get aggressive with our duelist and I guess semi-duelist in the form of Sky. Pop flash through, get an opener, and then you just get spammed down because there were 3 players from Fnatic waiting on the other side. So thus far, at least, all we're really looking at is the fact that Fnatic, either they go aggressively into one of the sites and you've just got someone like Durka who's just opening things up like it's no man's business, or you have these rounds where Wave try and get aggressive and Fnatic just seem to be ready for them every single time.
I think it is definitely the right time to call that pause into question for Wave.
まだこのゲームのうまさよくわかんないんだよな。
They have 4 ultimates as well, and this is
この
what
ゲー
really
ムの
makes
うまいっ
it
て何なんだろうね。
workable round. If you even look at Cider right now, he doesn't have a lot of money, but if he pops down his ultimate of Viper's Pit somewhere,
でもどうしてもゴーの見方をしちゃうんだけどさ。
I would say anything but a sheriff. He's probably in a pretty good spot to get a kill or to stop them from pushing there and force the team of Fnatic towards the rest of the weapons. But as I look at the buy,
ゴーのうまさと関係ない、関係ないじゃないよ。ゴーのうまさとは違うところは絶対ある気がするんだよな。スキル避けると思ったら避けれんじゃん、このゲーム結構。投げるの自体は簡単だけど。
You can see he's holding long range on A. But Fnatic, they've decided to make a pretty ambitious push in this one. 3 players straight through the tube. Up against a pistol buy, this could be incredibly dangerous, but in fact, this is the part of the map that Wave have left open.
トゥーブラッシュ。あれそれ抜かれてまあ大丈夫だと思うけど。中のキルドちゃんと。ダメーですかあばばばばばばばばば。アルティメット使って取りに来た。逆に取れると熱いよ。さすがマグナム君。あ、すごいゴリ。謎のスコープ打ちきたな。まっすぐ飛ばんねこのゲーム。
That means I think it's Mystic planting. He's just one away from his Viper's Pit. If he gets the kill or dies, he's set up for the next round. Wave are not looking to be in a good position here, even coming into the next rounds. And Zeke,
それタクトシ絶対ないのでは
no shield. So there's the first
Oh no 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 no
start leaving Magnum on 15 HP, but
そんなことあ
unfortunately
る
it's not going to be his. And we go 8-1, a dominant
あ
start
りでした
on this
すいま
map
せん
for
でした
Fnatic. And as we said, they have the advantage, it seems, coming into the latter stages of the half as
一
well.
人の冬打ててるならありだわ
Just to clarify, he was still on the rope when he did that, right?
I believe so, yes. It
Oh,
looked
hold
like it.
So there basically is no such thing as rope inaccuracy. That's what I've learned. Because he didn't even like spray or anything. He just tapped one bullet while hanging onto a rope by the back of his hat by the looks of it. I don't understand.
今回船川のアルティメット溜まったから
If I did that, the bullet's going off into the stratosphere.
多分キルドのアルティメットに返さなかったし
yeah.
ぶっ放してる
Very
と思う
much the same for me. And that's the thing, Tom. We always watch these pro games together. We're like, you know what, let's go play
ね
some
これ A
ranked.
セットだね
I bet I can do that kind of
あ
stuff.
ー
You
やば
try
そう
to replicate the plays, and you end up just
3219
being
来ないこれ
everybody. It's a shame. It really is. But I guess they probably put a few more hours in.
当てたース
But if
パ
he
イクド
bullets
ロ
in,
ップ
he goes
だ
down straight away. Durka manages to
位置交
return
換
it to Cider, and this Killjoy ult is going to push them completely off the A
船川のだ
side,
から
garnering full control to Fnatic. And as
あー見
aforementioned,
てていいんじゃない
they've got that Viper's Pit now to
見
even
ない
the
から
odds or push
入ら
them
れ
a bit
た
in their favor.
It's going to be
Welcome
almost
to
instant
my
lead. There is an
walls
Empress on the other side, but I don't think it's going to have the same sort of
バイバイ倒せるかこれ
It's already going to be picking off one. He's got Durka.
どっちのアルティメットだよこれ
But actually, he
死んでる
goes pushing, and
どっ
they
ち
lose Mystic as well. The worry here, though, is there's still a Hunter's Fury if
どっち
they even need to use it. And Magnum up close, they
俺は
don't
惜し
even
い
expect Boaster to just be hiding in the corner. Why would you? He has a Hunter's Fury online. You're
今
gonna
のは
think he's as
船
far
川
away
のア
as
ルティメ
humanly
ット
possible, hiding in the
わ
back,
かりづら
ratting it out, and
どっ
instead
ちのアルティメット今
he was on site.
Has he used his Hunter's Fury this half? I don't recall it.
I'll be honest with you, Mitch. I don't think Fnatic
問題なく勝てそうだ。
ultimates that much. Like
船川だね。下船川か。タイミング的にそうだよ。
We saw multiple ultimates popped by
ウェイブ側アルティメット、バイパーまだ使ってなくね。
That's disappointing, shall we say? It is the map pick of Fnatic if we want to sow some some seeds of hope. But
いいスクリーンですね。
I don't know about that. I still feel like when we come over to the next map of Breeze, that's somewhere that
いますな
escape him, man. Sneb's a headshot as well through the cloud burst. Disgusting. Yeah, like coming onto the next map, I don't see. I'd love to believe in the narrative that Wave are in a position where they're just gonna really have some insane strats and catch Fnatic off guard, and Fnatic don't know how to play Breeze, but I can't believe that for a second.
Yeah, as going into this one, what I will say is I think along with maybe Ascent.
甘えた。はい、強い。
Oh my god, is he actually just
ダ
gonna
ー
ace
ケ
this round?
君強いや
Come
ん。
on, Durka. Let's close it out. I wouldn't be surprised if he goes hunting for it. Murray might just like he doesn't want to save onto this because obviously he'll get more from the bonus in the next round. So it's gonna be the idea to get a kill. Mystic in a 5 versus 1 is still doing lineups. He's like, don't worry, just in case he tries to defuse.
メイクベイト構えてんの真面目。
Ready just to make sure. I just hope you know that, guys. I'm prepared. Murray though. Oh, not.
That was a headshot.
Not the 1.5. Yeah.
死んでんぞ。どうでもいいけど。
There's no worse feeling, man. There
That's one,
really
isn't it?
is no worse feeling. And honestly, in terms of where the meta sits right now, I like where the Sheriff is. At the same time, every time I hit a 145, I'm like, God, they need to buff this. Should be one-shot headshot from any range.
Do you know what that's like? It's like if you
He
say
put
order
it.
some food from a specific
Gıda
fast
kay.
food place and they deliver everyone else's food and you don't get yours.
Yeah.
Right,
They call that the high puck, right?
このラウンドウェーブ側はマジでアルティメット使わないと
They just give you an
gonna be so
apple
bad.
pie and leave
Give me
every
poo,
other
yeah.
part of
That'd
your
be
meal out of it. Yeah, that's...
Get on my way.
At 2
あ、使った使った。
a.m. when you're absolutely starving after a 10-hour broadcast.
に対してダーケ君が
The
飛ん
best
で
thing was the guy literally waved the apple pie at him and said something in German. We didn't know what he said, and we've had many theories in the latter stages.
Onisan.
But hey, there's an opening for
Onisan.
Carcass again on that
Onisan.
able to get it done. Now, this is the last round of the half, and if you take a look at the ultimates in play, there is a
お兄さん
res
そこ
that's
なんで見てた
immediately popped. Over on the
味
wave
方が
side,
車線
they've
取って
already
殺
used
されてたら
Viper's
お前
Net,
そ
have
こ車線
Empress,
として意
they
味
have
ないやろ
Lightstorm. There's a bunch to work with here, but the numbers now evened up. They've actually managed to deal a lot of damage to Durka, almost taking him down on that initial fight. With the decay,
もう見
he
と
was
る意味
50
ないやないか
HP getting out of there.
びっくりした
Yeah, this time of course it's not like one of those rounds where he just has the blade storm, so he still has a rifle to boot. Zik, this is
あー、彼
aggressive.
おー
I don't know, maybe gets a little bit
ガチ
frightened
ぶっ
by the
ぱ
amount of players spotted on the other side.
あ、すごいぶっぱだ
Eventually, he's gonna get cleared. The Hunter's Fury
勝ってる勝ってる
definitely helping
も
there.
うエイム強いだけ
At least Nick trying to do his
あ
best, and actually he's got two.
このチューブで倒すの強い
Opportunity here. Cider in the right place, but not quite the right
謎の
timing.
謎のオーバーピックからのデッ
Now
ド入った
only
な
two remain.
ウェーブ側のバイパーやべえぞ
Who's been spotted as well, as if it isn't already difficult enough. And Nico eyes a little bit low, and unfortunately, unlike Sage, can't heal himself.
今のオーバーピーク気味のピークから2回やって死んでるのやべえな俺がよくやるやつやれ
As they come into the site, Carcass is going to be the one to do the heavy lifting. At least you'd hope so. That's where the blade
あー
storm
右
comes
クリ
out.
で
Not
死ぬ
to use that operator as a
プレッシャーかけ
shotgun
て
when you basically have a shotgun.
おおこれはラッ
Shot
キー
onto Magnum, but ultimately it will amount
や
to
りがなかった
nothing.
ね
11 to 1 on the board, and that dominant game for Fnatic hasn't been cursed, thankfully. It looks like they are very much in the driver's seat with Durka almost hitting 20
え
kills
なんか
in
今日の
the
フナティッ
first
ク応援
half
配信
alone.
秒で終わ
That
り
is
そう
ridiculous.
407.
Across 12 rounds.
It's gone up since we mentioned it last time. Like that's unreasonable. Like we mentioned it because it was such a high stat. We're like, yeah,
Let's
this
go
round 7,
Fnatic.
and then you get to round 13.
13の 13の
Yeah.
ね
This is the thing. Not only are Wave having to face Fnatic, they're having to face lower bracket angry Fnatic.
いやないな
which is the scariest
13の1だわ。
Fnatic of all. So,
ごめん、フナティック。
yeah, I will say I am a lot more
ごめん。
hopeful for Breeze.
失礼だね。
I don't know if they'll be able to win
13の
it,
4とか。
but this is one of the weaker
失礼で
maps
す
for
わ。
Wave. I think that they've been recently trying to change
ピストル
comps
負ける
because
っていう読
things just
み
weren't
ってことですよ
necessarily
ねっ
working,
て。
even against like
そうです
weaker
ね。
opposition. Well, most opposition.
13の
like
1。
Fnatic, but you get the point.
すいません。
Against more local opposition. So I think that they knew somewhere in this series there
一
was
応
probably going to
ね、
be a gimme
ピスト
map.
ルが
Maybe
強いんだ
they
よね。
thought there was an
構
opportunity
成。
here rather than on Ascent. I'm hoping Breeze is going to be a bit closer, and also I'm just excited because I've never
キツネ倒
casted
す
a
の
Breeze
だるく
before.
ねっていう。
I don't think,
おダーキュン頼む。
even looking back at
13の
Breeze
1。
and how it's been played out, I'm very excited to see Fnatic's take on it. Like, I want to see what they do in
Yeah.
this series. At the same time, with such a dominant first map, I'm like, are they really going to end up in a spot where they show everything right now? I think
45
that
秒
they'll probably be much
おめ
looser
え B
on
じゃんこれ。
Breeze, and what we're going to see from them in the next map is not.
Triple duelist?
Oh well, let's not be ridiculous.
いい
Tom,
ねー。
please.
一人しかいない
Who
の。
would do that
分か
other
って
than
る。
oh, Fnatic?
I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm just saying I don't want it. Oh,
すなわ
Mystic
ち
through his own wall and he takes down Z.
いいよ
This is like a
い。
final nail in the coffin. If Wave lose this pistol, it is
あ、もうこれ
without
負
a
けない
doubt
ですね。
over. And indeed, it's looking like it
負
might
け
be
るわ
Karkas,
けがない。
the final remaining member, has a 1v4
相手の
in
エイム
his
が
hands,
弱い。
and these players are just
いい
destroying
ぞ
through that cloud burst before he even sees a victim. He's a player. He's 5 HP, and that will be 12
ー。イージー。
to 1 Tom. It is a shockingly dominant map. I know I said I expect this series to be relatively easy for Fnatic, but this
Easy.
is it's another level, really.
ここ
This
怖
is
い
a
よね、
little
ちょっ
bit
と。
silly. I
この
think
ゲーム
is,
マジで。
the way I would put it. It's also one where you'll
いや、
just
こ
get
こ
to the
怖いっ
stage
て
where
い
you're
う
like,
か、
okay, they're just
なんだろう、
running
こ
around.
こを
Also,
取
you
る
said 420
の
ACS.
は、
Just thought I'd point that out. Enjoy that chat.
別になんかめちゃくちゃ難しくはないんだけど、
Funny
なんか
numbers. Haha.
安定させる
Yeah.
装備でいく
I'm not
と、
expecting much. Of course, it's
サ
gonna
ード
be
ラ
a
ウンド
four
きつ
spies,
くないみたいな、
and
なん
in
か、
terms of four spies,
ジレンもあるよね。
they're fairly even just because, well, they got the plant, so there's at least a little bit of extra money.
面白い。
We might have a bit of a cheeky execution coming.
ヘブンに対して膨ら
I
ませ
did
んの
like
か
the nanoswarm throw over to B just to save from spawn, so he's not late to the A site.
ゴリ押しプッシュだ。ああ、いいリコン。いいリコン。いいリコン。さすがボスだぞ。いいぞ、ユーティリティおじさん。
They need to find something. They need a hero in this round to keep them alive and give them a shot to at least get more than the one on the board. And it might just be Yuri. There's the
ちょっと
first
ス
kill
クリ
for
ーン
the
が貼ら
Reyna.
れるまで
It's
待っていたらいいっすかね
But in some
スクリーン
rounds,
が貼られ
those
る
2Ks,
前に前出んのやめてください。
those 3Ks, they come in, use the dismiss instead of
バレてる
the heal,
よ
so now he's very low and up on the
バ
road.
レてるよ
Zeke is taking a lot of damage. Mystic able to
実交
close
換
one out, but the
3-3
spike has made it to the side. It looks like it's
バウン
might
ツ
even be planted
ああ、もう
until
ここで
Zeke is
作る
left
んだな、
alone
マグナムが。
and taken down. Third
マグナムがさあ作るんだな。
Probably not going to be Cam. Click. Is he like?
なんでボスは顔つけねえんだよ。ミスティックで映ってるから、これ。
It is so.
seconds until they kick it off. And Tom,
出
what
た
are we expecting to see here?
知らねえ、このマッ
Are you
プ
expecting Wave to
対して。
completely surprise Fnatic and
マップ名
bounce
知らねえよ、この
back?
マッ
Or
プ
is。this a 2-0?
I would assume it's probably a 2-0, but I'm hoping for the prior, if that's allowed as an option.
エンシェントでしょ？知ってるよ。
Actually switching up over to a Sova. Like that's not
CS:GO にある
something
もん。
I necessarily expected, considering the agents that we normally see in play is the big boy Sky in most of these cases. But
なんか安定して
you know
勝ちそうだ
what? It
ね。
seems like Nico might be stealing that role from him, at least on a couple of maps.
I'm a big fan of the Sky and Sova play.
Ah.
And I think when it comes to
バロに行った方の海外プロはどうなった
It's so important, but right now they don't have a Sova.
補足してるよ、普通に。
Yuri is down. That A
セン
push
チネルの
through Cave
テン
is
ズ
not
と
gonna
か、
work out in the
あ
slightest. They've
と、
spotted
誰だっけ
players outside of B, and off the back of that,
キコは
Fnatic
なんか弱くて
immediately
受け入れてなかった
rotated.
け
Now
ど。
blitzing out to the A site with the
あ
Viper wall.
と
They're
は、
gonna
誰だ
get
っけ、あ
plants,
れ。
and this is Wave facing into the first retake of Breeze.
あとなんか、あそこもある程度言ってたのあった？スクリームも頑張ってなかった？ いや、バカにしてるわけじゃなくて笑うんだよな、マジで、そのメンツが。メンツが弱くて笑うんだよな。うん、すれ違い宇宙すれ違い宇宙怖え怖え怖え
Boaster even receiving a shot to the head for his troubles, but
前
still
な
getting away
そう、お
with the
城
murder.
と泳ぎ会何だったの
Fnatic
したらば
looking good at the
82 番
moment.
本当
隊。
に
It is only
真面目じゃん。
前
今ちょっと
の素人の
怪しかったよ、でも。
入会は何だったの？
as to how
いや、ちょっとここ怪し
round
か
twos
った
are
よ。
gonna go down when it comes to Breeze.
い
At
や、
this
ここ怪し
point,
かったね
on。the defensive side,
バイパーはミスティックが張ったよね、さすがに。そうね。
especially,
ミスティッ
you
クが
can
張っ
see
て、
viability for Marshall strategies to come out.
ここよ。どういうことどういうことこれ。ポス
On
タ
the
ーが
defensive side especially, you could see viability for Marshall strategies to come
どういうことああ。入って、なるほどね。入ったところで、なるほどね、なるほどね。
out up against this composition.
よくカバーし合っ
in
たな、こ
particular,
れ。
they don't have a lot to block lines of sight. We've seen before from Fnatic, for example, the triple smoke, triple controller setup. When that happens, when you've got a
構成
Brim,
がちょっ
an
と構成見て
Astra,
ねえや。構成がなので、サイファー必須なんだ、ここ。ステージもいるみたいな感じ。ステージいないわ。オーバージェットワークは一緒か。
and of course, a
まあ、バイパーのは流行りとし
Viper.
て、
That is going to
多分
put you in a tough spot to actually marshal it out. But
サイファー
Wave
いるマ
here
ップです
decide
ね、
to
こ
go
こ。
for the full eco instead. I commend it. I think up against Fnatic at the
入れ
moment,
る場所多す
they're
ぎじゃ
not
ん。
going to be the kind of team that you want to flex on, let's say, because that risk is not going to see a reward the majority of the time. But what it does mean, Tom, is on such a long range map like this, you're not going to be able to play default. Sorry, you're not going to be able to play 2-on-2 and try to take long range duels with classics. Instead, it's the pack mentality.
Are we in the Bulldog era? Like, it's one of those guns where you kind of don't really see it bought very much, just because comparatively there seem to be so many other guns in these sort of bonus rounds that will just work out a little bit
やっ
better
て
for
ること
you.
弱くね、これ。
But
ウェーブが。
we got a couple at least, so maybe the Bulldog's gonna. I know you want to see more Guardians
よくわかんない。
play.
センターの距離、クラシックの距離じゃなくないだって。
I think every time we ever play, like, oh, Tom the Guardian's really good.
B のギャンブルスタックバレとるやないかい。
But maybe some of the
こ
pros
ういうギャンブルスタックさ、難しくね。
because I can only imagine amazing things.
で、ギャンブルスタック
Yeah,
は
you need the
100%
Odin.
無理じゃない。
More chances to hit them. That's what
せめ
it's
て
all
一
about
音
for
だ
you,
よな。
Tom.
だって、
At this
い
stage,
ないの
Wave
バ
are
レた
just
ら終わ
looking
る
for
やん。
exits. They want to try to drop a weapon and maybe carry it over for
リコン
themselves
と
and
か
make
ド
this
ローンで。
costly. You don't want to allow Fnatic to get away with this one for free. At the same time, this map is so open that there's a lot of space that they don't have to, like, if you think about pretty much any other map on the sites,
や
when
る
they
にせ
exit
よ、
the
動
site,
くべ
they
きだ
have
と
to
思う
come
わ。
through
スタッ
a
クしながら。
clear, defined choke point that you can hold. Right here, the choke point that they are holding doesn't have to be peaked. Magnum is safe where he is, down in cave, and so they can take these long range duels and just completely mow the classics
ありが
down.
とう。
And Cider, well, he's just going to go down to the spike.
Yeah, as we've said many a time, this may look foolish. You may be putting some Keck W's in chat, but the fact is, he needs to die there. He needs to go down just to make sure that he gets the extra bonus money. You get quite a bit less if you actually stay alive in these sort of rounds. So only if you have a weapon worth saving.
ACS223 ですわ。
But this is where things should get a little bit more interesting.
やっぱ ACS 高いですね。
Witness Boaster actually investing straight.
何やねん ACS って。
Maybe not. Okay.
俺だって100回言う
I thought he was going to go straight for a rifle
の。
here.
俺はセンタープッシュ。
A boost to this investment. And also something that we almost expected going into.
エーロンプッシュなのもしかして。
It is
あ
all
ら
Vandals,
強
all
い。
except Murray, who's already dead.
For him, it's nothing. And the Bulldog is now going to receive an upgrade off the back of that. For a second, I thought that switch was a gun, a rifle poking through. It's like,
すげえな、これ。
But now, the switch is no more.
A バサミだ。
just runs through the doorway,
なんだこの A バサミ。
This is a
すごいな、これ。
of a bonus round from Fnatic.
すごいマップだな、これ。
Wave have rifles on a map that
A バサミマジで前後に挟まれんだ。
Fnatic have a 4v2 post plans, and Wave are already spotted coming out of spawn. There is nothing going their way.
I have a bad feeling about this.
That went by twice as quickly as their eco
What
did. Maybe 3 times as quickly.
I'm not feeling so confident anymore. Like, I know that it's early days still, but they made that look very easy, and a lot of that just came down to a bulldog opening duel that came through
が
from
もう
Durka,
全然
which
余裕そうっすね。
kind of
なんか
didn't really expect him to win.
応援
So,
する必要性がないみたい
yeah,
な。
Wave have played this map a few times. It's one that they're definitely
あ、これ。
comfortable with. But as said, like a lot of the times, the way that teams have beaten Fnatic is almost what Mini was talking
あの
about. in
辺
the
の
interview,
カメラめ
which
ん
is
どくさ
everybody
そう。
watches Fnatic either copies what they've done previously, or if you're someone like Liquid, you innovate ways to beat
カ
it.
メラ意味ねえよな。
Now,
もう
you can't do that because they haven't played the map.
That's the problem, right?
ここ無理じゃねえ
We
守
were
んの。
highlighting a little bit earlier on. Zeke just
Come
tried
on,
to
無理だよ。
one tap someone with a sheriff
I
through a
appreciate
smoke.
the effort.
You know what?
That's my sort of play.
Gotta shoot your shot, don't you? And well, a
Okay.
couple of shots being shot out.
エリアの開け方すごいな、こ
By
れ。
Wave, they're managing to find themselves into a
何にもないやん。
3v3. Again, the retake having to be found.
あるけどさ。
They're
あるけど
seeming to
何に
make
もないやん。
progress until Magnum and it just destroys their
はい、
boat.
裏取り。
Comes up behind, completely shreds them.
きつそう、これ。
Zero on the board.
守
Fnatic
るの
are
きつ
looking
そう
so good right now. And Wave are gonna start to get flashbacks of that
あ
previous
の端っこに
map
設置され
time.
る
It
の
wasn't
手前
pretty.
で守る以外なくね
13-1 they lost.
でも A ショートはなんか野良配信とか見ると守りやすそうなんだよな。
Yeah, and we're seeing an almost identical execute being run by Fnatic almost every
A
single
short
time.
っつうのかな。
It's the same like wall that's going over, the same
A の
screen
入り
as
口は
well that's being utilized just to give them that access to the back of the site. They're then having all of their after plants set up. I think that ice wall in particular is just really annoying because it almost looks like you might be able to
ノ
just
ラと
jump
プロは
over it,
違う
but
と
you
言われ
can't.
て
So
お
it's
り
just in
こ
the
のマッ
way
プバンダルマッ
awkwardly.
プなんかな、
And
そうい
then
えば
even give some angles
光
for
線
them
距
to
離さ
shoot
すが
back
に
out
長
of
え
it
な
if they want to try and play peekaboo. So it they've not really had to do much more so far, and you can already see they've just thrown down the same screen and are now going in the
また
other
センター取り来て
direction.
る
The big fakes being sold, and you can see that 4 of the Wave players are actually towards that half of the map. If you include middle in it, I'm kind of cheating on that a little bit, but it is what it is.
いやまあす
I
ご
like
い
Sider's
なこ
goal
れ
here. This is something that
開け
has
方
been
すごい
theorized
な
on a lot when it comes to holding down the B
バト
side.
ルフィール
The
ドの
choke
マップ
point
かって
itself,
感じだわ
having your orb there, obviously allows you to stop and slow any sort of pushes coming through.
すごい
And
な
then
こ
the
れ
wall on backside, in case they do breach it, will allow your teammates to get into position and mount a retake. It's a really nice Viper setup, and I think Fnatic at this point, they're hoping that the presence that they're making over towards the A site causes some sort of aggression, causes these players on B to push through, but that is not the case. Oh wow, just snuck a cam onto the site.
He is watching you at all times. Carcass, though, he's got his operator in play. This
いい
is
バ
where
サ
the
ミ
game might change. He got
おお
two shots! A 2-for-1. He didn't even know the second player was
まあまあまあ
there. Oh, that is a
一個ぐらい
little
取って
bit
くだ
of
さい
bad
よ
luck for the side of Fnatic and an explosive
あい
first
つ
round looking likely now. 15 seconds for both to try.
おや
Stop peeking him. Stop
ワンフォーから
peeking him. That is 3 kills in the
ドン
space
ピ
of
だ
a
よ
few
ドン
seconds.
ピ
Yes, the remaining players.
ドンピですよあらららららららら時間ないわ
Stop peeking.
Oh man, Cider really wanted that kill.
海外の実況者から守られてる
There
よ
we go.
Oh,
It's
thank
finally
God.
found by Zeke, but from what was feeling like a very good round, let's look at the context of it.
ストップピーキ
Carcass
ン
manages to find 3 kills in quick
よ
succession.
っぽ
One
ど
of
や
those
で
being a collateral of sheer luck lining up on the choke point where Magnum was still behind a cage and a Viper's orb. Now, that's not going to happen every round. And then in the 5 versus 1, Boaster almost ends up killing
ワン
4
オ
of
フ
them.
ォーシチュエーション1発覚から2人死ぬのはまずいっすよ
Put a sour taste in your mouth of what should have been a very
まあフナティックが強いってことよそれほど
morale-boosting round.
Yeah, the worst thing is as well is killing him changed absolutely nothing. Like it made no difference. There's still a full buy on the other side. Like if they had brought a lot of these rounds close, maybe. This is cheeky though.
えい危
One
ね
I
え
like it from Carcass though, being more proactive into middle, getting them not only information but also
の敵
potentially
は赤か
denying some of these flanks. Like Magnum has been so irritating so far, but we're back to what we know and love. This basic execute that's coming through from
めっちゃ
Fnatic,
ゴリラやん
sectioning off the site, but there's a few counters now. The spam through finds a first, Carcass has caught another. Now the screen's gotten down, and Carcass is still holding on to this position.
And both jets without their dash, so those aggressive peaks become less and less likely. And in fact, we're going to have a heavy
Esa
rotate
Toro.
because look at Magnum. He's all the way up
また
in
マ
their
グナムさん
spawn.
裏取りやん
And it seems like they have absolutely no idea,
土
no
着さ裏
notion
取るやん
that this is possible. He hears the steps and the rotates coming through and is ready to catch
え
Jet
土着さんお
as
前
she comes
え
on
土着さんお前通すや
through
ん
to middle or indeed to this side.
あナイスナイスナイス
That's
ナイ
the
スナイ
kill
ス
that he
そう
needed, but
そう
now
そ
his
う
position is given away, and the
So,
legwork
so.
has to be done by the rest of the squad. Still a heavy stack on the A side, and
え B で でよくね？ A でいいのこれ？え、これ A なの？
At least bouncing back into it, with Durka being in the 1 versus 1 and operator with the Blade Storm in play, the spike to go down, and Cider known to be playing B. Durka, oh, the little fake cloud burst down on the left side, as he's just gonna wait, hopefully bait that player into open combat, and now he spotted him. The information with on both sides, but the clock plays for Durka. Cider is creeping over, but that operator is trained on the angle, and Durka just doesn't miss. There is the 5th round for Fnatic, and a disappointing loss for Wave, especially when you take into consideration that the opportunity for a flawless round was fumbled, leaving them in a position now where their economy is in a much worse spot than it really should have been.
I feel like there was like they lost that round off their own mistakes. Like, don't get me wrong, it takes Durka or Magnum to come back and actually clutch that out. They are the stars of the show for the reason. They're the players we watch in the majority of cases in Fnatic, but you spotted Magnum in mid. That's also the 2nd round he's done that. Like, we saw him come through and clean up just a couple of rounds ago where he wrapped around the back. He shouldn't be allowed to do that twice. That need, like, it's the fool me once, you know the rest. Like, it's one of those things where that's a mistake I'll allow you to make once. The 2nd time, now I'm starting to think like, okay, this is a map that you picked.
余裕すぎて眠いぞ。寝ようかな。さすがに見るか。さすがに見よう。言うことねえもん。言うことあるけど。今ので話すんだ。当たらん当たらん。やっぱクナイじゃなくてナイフなんだ向こう。ああいいね。警戒しづらいだろうないですよ。とと。もしもーし。もしもーし。なんで今の死ぬんですか2人。
Yeah, he probably shouldn't have even needed to use the Spectre at this stage. Wave, as we said, we set the expectation. This is a round that they should have gotten absolutely rolled in, and thanks to a very aggressive play by Nico, a brave one that actually connects, they're now in pretty much a winning position. It seems almost impossible to lose, right? Cider has got the flank locked down. They have a 4-man stack on the site. They're ready to play on contact. They have a camera watching the walkout. Now Boaster's dead. He's going to be swung on. Very, very nice round from Wave. Thus far, though, I noticed that Fnatic, maybe not in this round so much, but in the other round where Wave were on that eco, you saw Fnatic play much, much slower than when they're versus a buy round. And it seems like they almost respect Wave more when there's pistols in their hands than when the rifles are there and they're that little bit more predictable.
That's at least the boost. That's what we were looking for. Like, that's the explosive round that's going to get the blood pumping, maybe bring Wave at least back a little bit after some sillier mistakes in the early rounds. I don't really know how Nico got 2 kills there, I'll be honest. Like, the classic right clicks, getting the job done. Now it seems like Zik is going to play this one a little bit more passive. Not so much taking the fight. Sturker has been able to get a fair few openers in these upper halls. Now they can try and split this through into the A site using the door, and they've attempted that once. Now they bait Zik into the open. Murray's still going to be here, but he's also been punished multiple times trying to face off versus these players. And in the meantime, Boaster is trying to find one with the Hunter's Fury, but Nico and Carcass have gone huge.
Oh, they're back. They are back in the saddle. Wave have started to find the rhythm. Here's the Sheriff for Mystic, though. Good for one. The flash. Oh, that's surely. Somehow he survived, but as he goes back out, there's 3 players ready and primed to take him down. And Boaster falls, leaving a 3rd in the hands of Wave. Much better. I'd say 3 times better than what we saw on the previous map. And it's only beginning, right?
この画面から得れる情報少なさすぎんだよな。この画面から得れる情報の少なさやばいよな。
Like talking about round objectives at this stage of the map is ridiculous.
この画面って。
But I do feel like
でも2ラウンド負けてね。ちょっと応援した方がいいこれちょっとなんか眠いって言ってないで。ごめん、分かった。
I think also with no officials on the board for Fnatic, I feel like the defense might actually be a little bit harder because you haven't been able to put a lot of the strategies you have into play. Maybe the synergy might be a little bit off, whereas I'm always going to expect
センターアホっぽく見て死ぬのやめよう。
Lurks to be able to come in from Magnum, which you know what, he's attempting to do that right now. He's just walked straight into the B side. We haven't seen too many executions in this direction, and this time it seems like the read is pretty decent. Murray already rotating in a little bit earlier after his normal mid play, and they've kept that one nice and clean. It
特に何事もなくスモークを抜けて死亡みたいな。何まあまあそういうラウンドを俺らはするよと見せると。ゴリして死ぬのは見せる必要ないのだよ。
Most definitely. The round is just about to kick off after that pause. A little bit of lull in gameplay and hopefully an opportunity for the teams to gather themselves now. We kick it back off. And from what we've seen of Fnatic so far, the attack had looked very good when there were rifles in hand.
取らせることにより、めっちゃ前出よるやん、あいつ。あれに対するカバーリングいねえぞ。やばい。ここ負ける。今度やばい。今度やばい。やばいわ。点やばい。点やばい。
And cheap the judge was, I think, and then before
that, he had
the Bucky, like there were so many other.
栄翔攻めてるジェットがもうこっち俺一人でええべって言っちゃってる。
You're a bit weird. Like I think maybe there's one or two positions I could think that it could work, but if you ever have to rotate, you're screwed. Again, aggressive position, dash out. Exactly what he needed to do.
Starting to play Durka's game for him in a way. Like this is something that hold on, let's just put that point on the back burner.
そう、センターから詰めるのって疑似バサミするのいいんだけどさ。俺が浅い。俺が浅かったんですけど。本気フナティックとかいうチームさ、フラッシュなくね？フラッシュなくね？スモーク、フナティックというか、チーム、ポイントに対するアプローチの仕方なくね
？The thing I've noticed so far, at least, is I think Fnatic have their like clear plan when it comes to their executions. As said, they've got this. It's pretty much all expected. Whereas a lot of the B hits, I don't want to say more on the fly, but it does seem like they're almost like they're reliant more so on that mid control. They're reliant on those splits coming in from the side. I just feel like getting into B at the moment is very, very difficult.
One tap
it absolutely is, and I think this is something that when we look at the map, A being quite an open site, but it has the avenues of approach through hull, through middle, and through the cave. And indeed, you can even flank all the way from mid around the back. The issue is when you come to B, there's 2 choke points, and that's pretty much those are the primary ways you get through. With a Viper, look at Carcass, big change up here, playing the B side instead.
カーカス君はさ、ポイント内で守るんじゃなくてさ、時に前に出てきた時の回なくない？あー、生きってる。おー、いいカバー。これはしょうがない。そこでダーキングが抜けないのはしょうがない。
Yeah, I think he spotted Cider at the back of the site and realized that, okay, maybe I get away with one, but the chances are I take a bullet in response. So he decides that Durka, his own survival, is worth more again, though. Magnum, they're starting to become a little bit more wise to the plays that he's attempting to make. That short B push, attempted split. Not really going to be coming through. Now they're going to have the owl drone to try and find out a little bit of extra information. That will be taken out, but now the split begins. With only 2 defenders and a sort of rotation having to come in. They're reliant on these couple of players, and Carcass is only going to get 1. Cider, though, however, has brought this back into an advantage, and now the rotation is coming.
It is. He's been wall banged up
あ、
though.
そう。
Fury seeks him out, and Durka is the
あ、
one
そうそう。
to finish him.
あ、そう。
Pushed out of position.
あ、そう。
15 seconds remaining. That spike needs to get planted, and it's only on its
落ち着
way
け。
to the cross now. The orb
落
is
ち
going
着
to
け。
go up.
2-3
Falls on the
レッツ
way
きっ
through.
ちり
Boaster might just lose the round from that alone. It looks like he'll get the plant as Durka picks up a fourth, seeking the ace.
いいよ
Now they can play this one together. The steps heard. Nico swings.
あー
and
いい
he's only
ね
good for the one.
いいだろビッ
That is Fnatic finally claiming a 6th round on the board. A good comeback by Wave. Finally
よし
needs
なんか
a
お前ら
full
怪し
game.
くないか
But it's
なん
not
か攻め
over yet.
方
One
わ
final
はい
round
勝
to
ち
play for.
はい勝
And
ち
it could be neck and neck coming out of this half.
はいこの構成で6ゴール化して
You
勝
can
ち
kind of see why Durka wanted to stay alive in that initial fight,
本
didn't
当に
he? He ends up getting 4 kills as
いやまあ勝
while
ち
just running around the site, clearing
まあ
pretty
でも
much
勝った
every
ってない
angle
守
for
備
his team. And well, they just
だからでも
about
結
get
局
things through.
ね
Now
いや
we
こういう
are
構
still gonna have
成
an almost perfect
攻
investment
めて
here.
守れないからな
8,800
んだろう
credits
がっ
spent
つ
by
り謙
Carcass
虚
in
に
this round.
守る
So he's
の
gonna
っ
have
て
absolutely everything.
弱
But
い
Jet's utility is
守
also
るとき守るのって
quite
弱いんだよね
expensive. And on the other side, because they only have
守
one
るし
player
攻める
left,
から強いんだって
well, I
守
would
りっ
say
て
there's a few pieces missing, but Durka does actually have his blade storm.
Yep, that's going to be the difference
最
maker.
強
Right?
の
The
守りは
fact
攻
that
め
he
なん
can
だよ
actually
な
have that sniper shotgun crossover. Look
あ
at
行くね
right away, ready to just
行
go
く
on
ね
through. They're going to pop a wall. This has been saved in the
弱くね
a complete whiff there, falling down from the top
あ
of
い
the
いねいい
wall.
ねいいねいいねこれで
Good
もさ
intentions, but not good results. Man disadvantage to play with Viper's Pit down on the B site, but they bypassed it completely. Now coming in behind it from middle. And that
Let's see.
plant can actually be secured.
で
But
も
look at
1バレした
Cyber.
から
He's not staying inside the ult. Instead,
あーでもこれ
realizing
ボ
these
スターがいい
players
動き
might in fact
これの2人
decide
切
to
っ
go
て
onto
る
the back side. He's looking for them and trying to seek them out. But as of yet, spotting absolutely nothing, and then gets
いい
completely
ね
torn by Durka.
いい
Boaster
設
with
置
another
で
leaves Nico by himself, Tom. It's a 1v3.
ワンオン
It's
スリ
been
ー
a
ね
messy round, one that's hard for Wave to keep track of, and one that's hard for Wave to win.
Spike planted.
Boaster's eventually going to go down, but I fear it's too little too
これ
late.
12ラウンド目
He
なん
was
で
just almost playing with
で
the
もないですね
remaining couple of players on that side of the map while his teammates opened up into B. Now they have an afterplant of their own, a Viper's Pit of their own, and sure, there's some utility available,
Pit
but with
2人いるの
the
バレた
HP only at 30, one knife needed to the leg
ガンマ
for
チで
him
勝
to
つだ
be
けど
picked off. Like, I just
そう
don't
出んな
have
よ
any belief that Nico's
ガンマ
going
チ
to be
100 勝
able
ちや
to
ぞ
pull this one through. He'd need to catch the drop onto Mystic as at least the beginning. The flash
は
is
い
strong, but the headshot slightly better. It's 7-5 for
いい
Fnatic.
っすね
A
なん
decent
かも
half in the
う
end,
安
but
定
when
だ
you
ね
consider they were 5-1 up and Wave needed a big
今のバイパー
turnaround,
とピット2人の中で
it's
入っ
not
て
too bad.
1人殺されても
This is
ちょっ
definitely,
とカバーしましょうってな
to
った
me
し
at least, this is a
フラッシュちゃん
positive
と受ける
sign
し
for Wave. The fact that they bounced it back the way they did despite a huge deficit in the beginning means that they're actually starting to match up to Fnatic on all fronts. The other side of it is, as you mentioned earlier, Tom, you can imagine for Fnatic, with this being their first official, the defense could provide a couple of problems for them. Not like a map that's so challenging for rotations. You really have to get it right the first time around, and it might not be so easy for these guys. But it all comes down to whether or not they've had that immense amount of practice. We don't know how much they've prepared for this one. We know
ピ
that
ス
they
トルはマジ
definitely
で
put
安定
the
して勝て
time
るだ
on
ろう
it
か
that
ら
they want to play this
もう
map.
どうぞどうぞって感じ
Wave chose it. Wave have the history there.
センチネル相手
Maybe
に
that's
全
going to be
部取られたから
what puts
な
them ahead. Let's see what is going to be, or what their attack side is going to consist of, as they've already come in. The first 1 minute and 30 left on the clock, and you can see that their preference is definitely the A side off the bat.
I like the cam. They're just going to give them information if there is going to be anybody pushing in the upper halls. Instead, though, we've got the drone coming through, trying to clear some of these closer angles, and Mystic's going to get attacked. He's screwed. That is a really strong out drone over the top. He's taken off the middle of the site, and now the two players actually kind of isolated by the box. They're going to try and wrap around the back of the site,
面白い
get themselves close to the pyramids, or Madonna, as it's so called.
抜けんなよ
by Pansy.
抜けんなよ抜けんなよ抜けんなよ
He looks like
抜
he's
け
about
抜
to
け
make
たあ
something
り
It's actually Magnum that gets that kill, though.
でも
Finding it
きつい
from
よね
afar.
でもきついと思うよ
Well, they've put themselves into a man advantage on the Wave side and gotten the plant in. That's something to play with. And look at Z coming right up behind.
抜ける
Doma
抜くしかない
has absolutely no idea.
どこ向いた
He's been spotted
ダブル
down
ピーク
below. The
真
drop
上抜いた
not going to land.
ある
Doma, in fact, able to pop
ある
a heal off the back.
あー、位置上がんない
He'll have a little bit of
あー、もう位置上がんない
HP to duel these players with.
ダブルピークで終わる
Headshot will
ダブルピークで終わ
finish
るダブルピークで終わ
them
る
off. Do the same to them. Both
任せ
being sub or equal to
ですよ
100
ね
HP. Carcass closes it out though, putting 6 on the board for Wave. And, well, with the pistol under their belt, Tom, this deficit almost fades away entirely, provided Fnatic don't pull out one of those eco rounds that we saw from Wave earlier on.
ドマ君ちょっとなんか
I think
手
we
が悪く
also
ない
just
大丈夫
witnessed, like, even though how expensive
ここ抜ける理由なくないでも
that our drone is right now.
運ゲーすぎないそれ浅すぎないここ抜けんの
Like, they're basically half of your credits gone.
ガチ結果
In
論やん
the early stages of the pistol round, the value
え
of
あ
it
そこ
was
抜け
just
ないともう
massive.
罪なのかな
Like,
でもあの
instantly
段
picking
階
up
で
the stick,
アプローチしない
that's
と
a gone as well, which was
わ
the
からんけど
counter to them going into this
さ
site.
すが
That
に
seems to be the way that Fnatic want to
さ
play
すが
it.
に
Use
積んでな
that
かった
screen
今
to at least
通
make
常
things
時
a little bit more awkward, almost create a cross on the map. And by the looks of it, they don't care. They're going to go pushing into it again. Murray still just trying to hunt down this player on the site. It's being dodged. I don't know if he actually saw
全
Mystic
然
out
撃ち落とされないけど
the
普通なんかね
camera there. But I assume now they're definitely going to be expecting
武
someone.
器を A してくるのかな
Yeah, I think he would have shown up on the map anyways for the rest of the team to see.
あー
And his
きつい
flash
これは
through
きつ
the
い
smoke, we've
あ
seen
こ
it
このダブル
again
ピックは
and
無理
again. The buff to Sky has been
いいよ
unbelievable. Now Doma comes in with one, but the chances here
もう
are
このラウンドはマジで
very, very slim.
取れなかったら取れなかった
We
で
need to see a lot
削るしかないからな
coming out of Fnatic. And with Wave answering up, it seems like this round
いつそう
conclusion.
Player
And indeed,
standing.
it plays out that way.
ダーケ君がマーシャル持ってる
Like them.
あとこのゲームでセーブすげえしづらくなったからね
Not even really anywhere he can go here.
そういう意味でもセカンドラウンドバイしづらいよね
Six utility and well Zeke himself, so it's going to be 7-7. Wave looking good so far in the attack, but this is where the rifles come into play. Now, as said,
なんかラウンドイーブンにな
we
って
obviously
ね
don't know behind the scenes. Like maybe Sue can like leak a little bit of information, like how much has actually been practiced on Breeze. Like that, just sneak into to Boaster's room and be like, oh, he's playing Breeze again. But chances are we're not really going to know how much they put into it in the scrims. That's the big thing. The scrim bucks. It's something people talk about an awful lot. So we don't know how good they're going to be on this defensive side. As said though, it does become very different when it comes to officials, and I do feel like on a brand new map, playing the defense is always much more difficult.
It's going to be a swift push
Just
in.
clean.
My feed dropped for a second there, Tom, but I'm back, I think. We're good to go. You can see at the moment, on the backside here, Boaster, he's been huge in the past, Vandal in hand, but this time it's a Phantom. The silenced weapon. See if he can make some big noise with it. The flash around the backside isn't going to reveal him. They don't know where he's gone, but Zeke quickly spots him and the control that was left in the hands of Cider lurking around.
マップ広すぎてなんかすごい車線取り方してんなこれ
The final player left alive, a 1 versus 3.
あれ
That really doesn't feel doable. And
Fnatic さん
Wave, after equalizing up,
ムーティさん怪しくないですかもしか
have
して
put themselves into the lead.
はいサブスクライブありがとう
Not
ござい
really
ます
much Mystic can do here, and again,
Really
this was
silence.
somewhat of a bonus round coming through for Wave, so this is a huge victory. A fast take onto the B site, not really looking fantastic for Fnatic and their ability to hold it as well. And this 8th round,
負けないですねこれ
it wasn't like they broke the wheel or did anything incredible. It was just a very, very fast take execution and isolating some of the players out of the site. So Mystic has no choice, of course. This is probably one of the ideal save
大
spots.
丈夫かな
You're just going to be able to fall right back down into your little hidey hole. You just got to hope there's nobody waiting for you in mid.
Well, that's the thing. And you gotta hope no one comes in
もうアッ
there
プデート
and
してるちゃんと
sprays you through it. I've seen that
攻
happen
め
a
はしてた
couple
の
of times, but at this stage,
Oh.
Wave, they've got the lead back, man. They're looking pretty good, and the bounce back from a 13-1 deficit.
Eh,
you see the
守れなくね？
comfort
だったよ、だっ
that
て。
they get on
なん
this
か。
map,
俺も思ったけど見てて
pushing them ahead by a tad. And that B hold,
守れ
showing
な
a
くね
couple of problems. We talked about how difficult it is to get into that B side, and yet
わかん
Wave
ない
made it
わ
look
かんない
quite
けど俺も
easy.
初めてだわ
Coming
それ
into
見る
this
の
round now, I don't think Fnatic are going to be feeling all too good. Even looking here, so Mystic has his Phantom, but the rest of the team, they're probably even just sticking down onto classics at this stage. There's not very much that they can buy at all.
A バサミは熱い
Yeah, I'm gonna wait with bated breath just because
正
I
直
do
A
know
バサミ
at
は
some
熱い
point there's gonna be a Durka operator coming
あ
in.
A ロ
And
ンで
it
も
was
クソ
very
狭
similar
く
to what we saw in the last half, that the second that operator was in play,
あいや普通
the
に正面
map
からだ
changed drastically. So I'm not gonna say that. Oh yeah, Durka.
あ
will
なる
save
ほど
them,
ね
but
合わ
he
せて
might.
あと浮かせんのか。あれは壊せないわ。なるほどね。あのドローンうぜえ。ただ派手に死んでね。あ、エコなんだ。エコなんだ。まあエコなんだね。フローレスですわ。エコなんだよ。相手のアルティメット状況良くないっすかこれ。
Was that an Odin misbuy?
え、ちょっと待って。ちょっと。
I saw him have an Odin in his hand for a second. Now I know that we don't normally talk about that sort of stuff, but if he has got an Odin, I want to know where it's being played.
エコ先輩も問題ない逆に。
From what we've seen so far from Wave, it's been very methodical. Their executions look solid. Their information
どうすんねんって感じだよな俺。
has been almost perfect, but they have not done that. Okay, it definitely was a misclick. Well, Durka, here is his operator, Mitch. This is what we were looking for. Already taking a much more aggressive stance into A. It does allow Mystic to potentially rotate, but straight away, I spoke about these Seekers and their farming of the up, and it's going to be a very fast take in, but Karkas is dead. He's been caught by utility.
あ、焦ってる。まあまあまあまあまあまあ。でもこれが返せなくない？位置バレた。いやー、あの横にいるサイファー抜ける？なんかジャンプピックしてくれた。ありがてえ。あ、時間きつそう。時間きつそう。ボールいいね。いいリテイク。
8 on the board. They've managed to take this buy round with a bit of a different approach. And I feel like even if Wave go back to A, Tom, their setup that we've seen work for them so many times, that drone through the wall, it's going to be met by Durka by the looks of things, and that could put a real spanner in the
works. ターニングポイントのサイファー倒すね。
I think it's definitely going to get tougher from here. I think also
ビーラーのサイファー倒せなかったらちょっとやばそうだった。
His initial setup on the site, like utilizing all of those cages, like having the trips to almost just give him the free information and kills, and also trading out 2 players as they entry, because that was the way they almost just ran through in the rounds before, was that he just like got dominated. This time denies them initially. I don't think Durka realizes where he is. I think he's got lost in that flash.
He's on a different
planet. They cannot see me, Mitch. Don't worry.
On the open of this side. I'm John Cena, bro. What you talking about? I love this lurk by Zeke. He's waiting for B aggression. Actually ends up catching Boaster, moving in through the tube, and that puts him down to just 5 HP. At elbow completely locked down. Fnatic can't get any flank play from there, and instead they'll look to Magnum coming through the halls, and that position has just been left open. Wave were watching it this entire time.
ポジショニングは多分俺強いけど、これ政治刈り取られたら終わりじゃないだよね。
Has the correct timing on this. He could catch this whole team completely off guard. Ultimately, it comes down to Zeke and what he does, and as we see, he's going to be setting up the tripwire. Nice. Now, Magnum knows his chances of sneaking by are quite slim.
なるほど。
He's jumped over.
Oh, he has.
裏取った。
Oh, he's got through. This could be a huge problem.
勝ちました。
Quickly they get through things on the side, but he's going to be around behind. First one goes down. Doma has done an incredible job himself. Now leaving it all onto Zeke.
これは美味しい。よく裏取った。
And it is going to be Fnatic taking the round. The flank, maybe not the most integral thing in the end. It's Doma just.
これはマグナム君。マグナム君やっぱ強いんですよ。
Nonetheless.
結局。
That might need to be looked at because I don't think they were expecting someone.
結局マグナム君が強い。
It's a matter of inches, honestly, Tom. If he could have gotten that tripwire placed slightly further back just to deny him jumping up on that ledge, it would have been perfect. And as he was just walking by, throwing it, hey, these things happen. But they cost you rounds, and I think the fact that Carcass was taken down is a big, big thing. Like, if he's still alive in that situation, maybe we end up with another one of these big plays on the operator. Tom Fragger is destroyed by a small clerical error. We come into round 19, and I have to say, with the scores neck and neck and the way Fnatic have been playing, Wave are the ones on the back foot because they're now searching for a solution in how to break this hold.
Yeah, one of the things I was expecting a little more of, though, within this map in general is some mid plays. Like, a lot of these have just been straight up executions with maybe Alert coming in behind. Like, we haven't seen mid dominated, and that looks to be the plan in this round. The problem is, the man you have to face off against when you challenge is Durka, and that is not a fun game to play. The worry, though, is you expect the player coming through from that position, and the answer was no. Zika's already picked him off.
Yeah, right through the holes to get that kill. The one thing I will say is Doma's position isn't all too frequently held. He is rubbing shoulders with Muri right now, the yin and yang of the door hold. Let's see if they're able to, or who's going to be getting the jump on that one, if at all, because Waves seem to be moving their way towards the B site right now, where Fnatic have left. Just a Doma's going through, and that pays off massively. Muri has cut him down and left Magnum with no rotations. The side is theirs, 2v4 right when they need it. Wave are back in the game.
Don't peek.
10 seconds left. Spike planted.
Mystic's gonna be caught. Murray's
なぜ守り側なのにピークしに行って死ぬのか。
Now you've got Boaster. Hey, managed to get 3 in a 1v5. But I don't think he's going to be getting 4 in a 1v4. Like, it doesn't look like they just opted to try and save that operator into the next round. But there's the first one at least. And we know that they did take some pretty serious damage in the last round. They're going to want to try and get rid of this operator. Not allowing Durka to have that for the next is everything. And this man's luck in this round is the difference. Like, that is multiple kills now, picking players off. I will also say, finding Durka by using those upper halls was a huge play. And that's the thing, I'm not sure, like, with how this map played so far, I feel like the way that mid is played is so reliant on one player. Like, you have to have like upper halls covered and then mid. And the way that Wave actually adapted was to try and just stack up players to stop the halls push that Fnatic were doing because they were doing so much damage.
ですからね。これ取られて11ですからね。次取られたら要は終わりですからね。
solely to Durka to try and cope with both, and I just don't think that works.
マネーシステム的にお前、あと落とせるの日本だけやと実質。こんなラウンド取れるわけねえんだから。まあでも、でも抜いたか。取り来てんね。なんかバレてね。ダゲ君バレてね。
Leaving the B site completely open isn't optimal, but when you're obviously playing with pistols, sometimes you have to roll the dice and take that gamble. And for Wave, they're rolling right into this. 4 players, or now 3, as the rest of the team starts to slowly shift towards B. The lack of contact starting to spook them a little bit. Pistols can still do a lot of damage, and Wave have 0 information on the way through.
いや、きつそう。センターのライン通ってないからセンター気がしてダメだ。これお互いのカバーするためにエリア取りが縮こまりすぎてる。振ったー。これはそれできつい。that was popped earlier in the round, so it might just get a little bit tougher. And Boaster's making a move as well. There are actually 5 ultimates in play for Fnatic here, so maybe they're going to try and cheese it with the ults alone. 頭よ。頭しかないよ、もう。
Although it's found a tag, it's not going to find a
キムジラ赤に狩られる。
both able to pick up kills. They can go
15秒だけど。
just about knife out
ことよ、これ。
onto the site. That spike, if it was dropped, it would all be over, but they'll get there just
あ、
in
間
time.
に合う。
Nice and safe. 2 seconds to spare on the clock as the spike goes down.
やるね。
Very difficult for Fnatic. I mean,
これはお上手ですね。 なんで勝った今
That was unexpected. 2 quick kills. There's plenty of time. They can definitely go for this. And in fact, Boaster can grab himself an upgrade.
ワンチャンあるみたいな空気してる。なくね
Think the time is going to be too big.
ああ、セーブしてもしょうがないのか。
Now it's done. Now it's done.
でもなくねめっちゃ行くやん。全然当たらんわ。よくわかんねえんだよな。あ、次倍なの今なんか結構無理返ししてるように見えたけど。このゲームマジマネーシステムよくわかんねえ。お金減るのは知ってるけど、セーブした時に。そのお金の減り方が許容できる範囲なのっていう。この倍。今ハーフ倍からのここで倍なんだ。 フォーにしとくとかなんだ。なんか、ロスも保りすぎ問題。ロスは2でしょ。一応追いつくどころか離れたけど。
different style of Murray's play, but I'm enjoying it just as much.
Ready to be round onto the A site, which is constantly forcing.
It once, right?
Yeah.
It was just a straight down, almost in line with just a section off the site completely.
And I feel like it's almost to force Fnatic into playing these closer range angles. Because if they play behind the wall, they have zero information, right? So a lot of the time they're going up to it, they're using the drones, the recons, and that's putting them in a spot then where Wave finding the drone that they're using now. Basically, if you're playing close, you get fought and probably killed, and if you play further back, well, they get side control. It's a utility that get the side pretty consistently for them. Fnatic made the adaptation now and playing super passive, actually stacking it up. And a huge fake soul on the back of the Seekers, the drone, and the push out of the A side. Even the kill from Yuri, they walk straight through Viper's pit, and Mystic is caught with his pants down.
もしもーし
These have been some phenomenal calls over the last few rounds from Wave. That is a risky play to make. They throw two players into the A side as well. Murray's still holding two there. There are still two players on A. They've had to throw in that res.
こんなにガチガチのフェイクじゃなかったら今心で負けてますよ。 B にバイパーズピット張ってる側がお前自信なくなっとるやん。お前 B にバイパーズピット張って A4B1 シチュエーションならお前もう B から動かんでええやろ。それはもうお前もう A 本命なのがガチで確定するまで動かんでええやろ。しかも今開幕エントリーフラッグ決めてるの船だったろ。エントリーしてきたとこに返してたろ。なんで意味がわからん。そうだよね今。もうわけわからんわけわからん。今なんで今日検証もんな。でセンター1やろ。あいつが OK や。で、スカイのウルト使いました。動くのソローマルやん、こんなん。動くのソローマルやん。なんで
したらば84番さん。プロの代理の素人出てる。
もう自信なさおやん、それお前、そのタクティクスは。だってドーマもさ、アルティメット持っててさ、で、ワンキル開幕取ってんのこっちでしょ、マグナムが。マグナムがセンター側から視線合わせてなくてさ、ナサオじゃないそれ。ナサオすぎないちょっと。センター開けるのが怖かったのかもしれんけど、そこはそこでよくない？なんて言うんだろうな。なんかマップのコントロール的には、B バイパーズ焚いてんじゃん。まあこれ一瞬離れてもよかったかもしれんけど、あかんやろ。足を達したせめて。足を立っていったかバイターでしょ、多分あれ。センター離れたとしても、センターチラッと見てさ、もう近場いないなら、そのままセンターのやつがこっち行って一瞬。で、なんか、3秒ぐらい A に寄れる時間詰めて、でも結局センターでさ、ここのセンターからの A バサミのライン見てるんだからさ、センター動いちゃダメじゃね？どっちにしろ。いや、プーチンだわ。いや、プーチンだわ。ちょっと。で、バイパーズピット張れられてるから奥見えないわ。で、取られてるだけやん。いや、プーチンだわ、ちょっと。理論破綻っすわ。ちょっと理論破綻ですよ。
It seems like every time that Wave enter these tournaments, they end up against one of the best teams. If not the best, it's just by the looks of things. It's always the barrier to entry. They beat them once, they failed to face them the second, and now they're looking to do it again. And here on Breeze, despite a terrible first map, probably the worst game of Valorant I've seen Wave play, at least when I've been casting them, they've bounced back. They've now got the site with the standard A hit we've talked about many a time. And it looks like they're set to close this one out. Very, very weak weapons for Fnatic coming in on this retake. Durka starts it off well with one on the Guardian, and a second, in fact, he is clocking up kills, but eventually completely dealt with. And it seems like only a matter of time until this round goes their way, but maybe not. Nico has to do it all. A 1 versus 2, and the first is found. Boaster creeping up behind with just 45 HP. A Guardian in hand, he needs the headshot. 13 to 9 Wave. They bested Fnatic here on Breeze, and we're going to be going all the way to map 3, Tom. That player duelist, trying to hybrid the two, which is more common. Now, look at Fnatic right off the bat. They're on the attacking side, and they're already in hookah. Rushed on in. That's given them the opening. What's Muri doing here? He's just ran in at them. They're going to crunch right into hookah, and it hasn't worked out with Zeke and Muri both falling. It's now a 2-man disadvantage for Wave on the retake.
Yeah, both players coming in from hookah and trying to sneak their way through. It's a trade, but that's enough for Doma. Already for him in this round. The owl drone, as pricey as it may be, is going to give them every single piece of information they need. And realistically, I was going to say Carcass has no chance, but he now should have a decent idea. So one of these players, he isolates the battle with Durka, but the classic.
やめないそのなんか UTT でディセーブルない構成やめない本当にブリーチとかアストラとか入れよなんださっきの構成うんこやろお前タクティクスで勝つ気がないよさすがにもうゴリやんエイムのゴリで勝つしか長かったよ勝つしかなかったよ手段がにもかかわらず A セットに対する回ないですみたいな面しよるやんあのマップ見るの初めてだから俺が違うのかもしれんけど回なさすぎないでもあのキャラクターピックコースちょっと二度とせんでくれやマジでわかんない俺が違うのかもしれんけどあのキャラクターピックコース二度としないか作戦を改めてください
Essentially, Carcass and Durka, 2 players that you definitely want to deal with on the server. Now, Durka not playing the jet operator on this map, it's a little bit different, but you have that heavy smoke presence to limit the angles that Carcass can really play on versus the flashes to really gain the entry from Wave. Two very different interpretations. And look at this in the second round already, Wave have managed to find themselves a 1 kill.
いやミスティックいいねミスティックアンチェコいいと思うミスティック SMG うまいもしかして君一人潰されるのはまあ安いね安い一人はもうどうでもいいね
Yeah, I think also they're maybe a little bit unlucky in this case that the way that Fnatic countered them was just to
でここでそうねバンドル買ってボスター何かあんだろこれ
aggressively through bathrooms, they would have come up across basically no one and maybe got an individual duel along the way, which then turns into a gun, etc., etc. So the counter there from Fnatic was actually pretty strong as well.
Those flashes are so strong, man. Completely blinded up in the corner. Zeke does get traded out though as he continues forward. Fnatic end up with something to show for it. In fact, I think even an upgraded weapon off of that. Oh, Mystic.
こういうところのマネーコントロールまあ負けても次変えれやっていう買い方もう死ぬほど弱いんだよね
around as well where again we talk about this as maybe 2-3 kills for Fnatic is going to end up being pretty good. I think Doma realizes that there is going to be players zoomed in on this spike, so may just wait to see if Boaster can throw out a little bit of extra utility, if there is any available. Of course, we can't see... Oh no, we can see the stars. I didn't even notice that was added. Maybe I'm just a little bit blind, but it is still going to be the trades anyway. Leaving Durka, last man standing, still a man with hand, and the spike as well.
で A に行ったら天才
Well, at this stage,
はい、ダメ。
tough clutch, but
まあ
no
まあまあ
matter
まあ
man
まあ
for
まあ
the
まあ。
job, jumping out, he's
あ、
going to
こ
be
れしょうがない。
spotted
これ
but
しょうが
not
ない。でも
taken down. That was a close one. Looking for the
あり
spam
ありありありあ
brave
りあり。
attempt. The plant
打
comes
ち
in.
毒、打ち毒。
The 1v2 commences. He has a drone to play with, but no safe haven to really pop that drone out. You don't want to do it. They could be on long. They could be
ここでも
coming
設
for the
置
other
できたか
side
ら
of
次
elbow.
変えるな。
So he will retreat all back all the way
これは
through
熱
to
い。
long.
このマネ
Now,
ーコ
the
ントロール
wall
は
that's
熱い。
coming up here from Wave, this almost provides him that opportunity to drone through. If he can manage to tag one of them up, knowing that the other is potentially on the spike when they
こ
do
れで
go
も
in
下が
for
る
it,
と泣く
that
ね。
clock could definitely be an ally of his, but the wall is going to be. Oh, now it goes up. Oh, shot by
え
Durka. The drone out will
ー。
provide the tag,
あっ
and
さ
now
ー
it's。trouble because the wall bangs can come in. He's out of ammo, just going to pop the
あ
recon,
さ
find
く
a
て
little bit
助
of
か
extra
る。
time, and try to catch him. Oh, look, shock darts as well on the way. It's
え
nasty, but
ー。
Durka won't get it done. The
お願い
time
しよう。
is so low though. Muri only gets it halfway.
今、ウォール
before
張られてからだ
clutch comes in.
と、
3 to
結構やば
0.
かったっす
Fnatic
よ。
have won that one out, and big props to Durka for making that one
今、ウ
work.
ォール張られてからだと結構やばかったっすよ。
This seems to be
助
just
か
a
っ
thing
た
in
ー。
every single map that we've seen from Wave.
ウェ
Is
ーブ
they
の
just
さ、
can't get off to
もう
a
セイ
good
ダーとか
start.
やってさ、
Again, like we talk about
すげえ
the
失礼なこと
going
言う
on Breeze,
弱
which
くね
they won. They lost a 5 versus 3
人間
because
リー
of the
ダー
wraparound. This time, what was that?
に
1
せよ
versus
弱くね。
3 that they just lose to Durka.
これ
isolating
浅くて
different
助か
tools
っ
because he
た
killed
ー。
the player before this
こ
when
ん
he
なん張っ
got
て
the
から
spike
解除
back
するの
as
一
well.
択
So
やろ。
I
なん
don't
時
know
間
what it
全
is
然あるの
about
に
these
なんで焦
early
った
round mistakes, but they're really making this like an
あっ
uphill
さ
battle
ー、
for
助か
themselves
る。
every single time. And unlike with Breeze, this is a map
こん
that
なんに
for
負
a
けんで
long
くれや。
time Fnatic have been
あんな
considered
朝解除するやつに負けん
one
で
of
く
the
れや。
best, if not maybe even the best
は
in the world.
い。頑張れ。もうしょう
Oh,
がない。
absolutely.
Sure.
I mean, Sentinels maybe kind of stealing that one away slightly.
They're just the best at everything, though.
Yeah,
I don't know if that
doesn't
counts.
Hey, it was an OT. It was 16-14, so
Oh,
let's
wait.
give him a little bit of credit.
今ならあり。
Zeke here with the sheriff in hand. He's
More
gonna
money.
look for a player, look
More
for a
gande.
victim, but
ゴリッタ。
find nothing but bullets coming his way. He's out of here, and so the plan's gonna come through. But Wave still have a couple of players who can
怖っ。
come through and deal some damage.
怖っ。
And that is ultimately the goal of this round,
だ
isn't
よね、
it?
だよね、だよね、だよね、だよね。
Fury on the
危
spray.
ね
Oh, if he had
ー。
a Vandal or a Phantom there, even a Spectre,
お前
that
ら。
could have been a disaster for
お前
Fnatic.
ら。
They've managed to
お前ら。
evade Death's clutches for now.
ほんまに。なになになに私設置しとけっ
They
て。
wanted to kill Zig so badly that they've gone pussy.
ほ
They've
ら
actually given up other map
ー。ちょ、
control.
ガバイ、ガ
Carcass
バ
has
イ、
managed to
ガ
sneak
バ
his way
イ。
through. Bladestorm pop. They
そ
need
こ
to
こ
kill
アッ
him
プ
off,
アッ
and
プアッ
that's
プアップ
exactly
アップアップアッ
what
プアップアップアッ
Boaster will
プ。
do. But they've still not cleared out this other player from behind. The
何
wraparound
ゴリそれ。
comes in. No!
何してん何してん何してん何してん何してん何してん何してん何してん
Too late.
何してん
By
マ
that
ジで。
point, no ammo remaining, and it will be Fnatic to convert it. Definitely
ノー
not
ソしてん
as
のーな、お
clean
前
and
ら。
crisp as we normally see from Fnatic.
なんなん
But hey, 4-0 up, finance is still fine.
なん、
But
何
now
今のラウンド
they've
何
Ultimately, they have nothing but bullets
何こ
coming
の大
with the
行進
sheriff in hand. He's gonna look for a player, look for a victim, but find nothing but
これ
bullets coming
何
his way. He's out of here, and so the plan's gonna come
これ
through.
いいよ。
But Wave still have a couple of players
いや
who can
これ
come
もよ
through
く
and
わ
deal
から
some
ない
damage.
し。
And
これ何
that is
これ
ultimately the goal of this round, isn't it? Look at that. Muri
これ
on
ト
the
リプル
spray. Oh, if he had a Vandal or a
何これ
Phantom,
マジで。
have
何
nothing
し
but
てん
bullets
の
coming his way.
なんし
He's
て
out of here,
マジな
and
意味
so
不
the
明
plan's
なんだ
gonna
けど。
come through.
いや、ボスターがランプ取ってるやん。で、ミスティックがこうケアするのはいいよ。
But Wave
そ
still
う、
have
設置せえや。え、何ケアケアするもんなくねいや、こ
a couple of
う、シャワー
players
に
who
いるのは分かってるよ、それ
can
は
come。through
何え、なんかあんのそれ
and
な
do
いで
some
しょ
damage.
これでいいじゃん。これでも設置すればいいやん、これで。このトラインで。
And then that is
大更
ultimately
新な
the
いこれ
goal。of
大更新するのはいいけど、しかもこれ大更新するときにさ、
this round.
トキシックスクリーン貼ってから行けや。もうやだ
Isn't it? Look at that. Muri on the
な
spray. Oh, if he had a
もう
Vandal
勝て
or
な
a
くない
Phantom
じ
there,
ゃあもう勝て
even
な
a
いよ、
Spectre,
それは。
that could have been a
センチネルが
disaster
強いんじゃな
for
く
Fnatic.
て、
They've
ガバ
managed
イや
to
ん、お前ら。
evade Death's clutches for now.
ガバイやん。
Yeah,
でも
the
ラウ
team
ンド
wanted to
取れ
kill
てると
Zig
か、
so
これ、
bad.
もう、で時間かかって裏取られてますとか、もう意味がわからんしな。
Given up other map control.
なんなん
Carcass has managed to sneak his way through. Bladestorm
モ
pop.
バ
They
だっ
need
た
to kill him off, and that's
スペー
exactly
スクリエイト
what
今の。
Boaster will do. But they've still not cleared out this other player from behind. The wraparound comes in. No! Oh, he gets there in the end, but it's a little bit too late.
後ろから打つの下手くそだし。
Great from Carcass could be the
ま
difference
あ、
maker
セー
again.
フはもうしょうがない。これはしょうがない。これはしょうがない。この1時間頑張りしょうがない。まあ、一人で攻めまして、一人で攻めたんで、二人にやられましたみたいな。まあまあまあ、まあ。
But at least we said the point of that round was damage. They succeeded. They got a lot of damage done. They've made the Fnatic economy a little bit more modest. And now it's time to get that little bit answer. 4-0 on the board.
はいわ。こっちよ。
Have the operator out.
危ないよ。
Carcass has been pushing down long slowly this entire round, but it seems like they're aware of it. And maybe they spotted him when we went off screen for a second.
そうだしご。
Now he's just posted up and waiting for someone to peek into him, but it's unlikely Fnatic. Oh, decide to give.
待った知らない。危ねー。
Forward and nearly loses his life. In fact, I think the wall absorbed some of those bullets and made it so he's on 26 HP.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
It's an early pop.
Yeah, he's actually gonna pop it. He did tag the player, but I thought once he got the tag, he might actually go for it. Of course, then it almost fades off. We're gonna see the orbital strike. This is just an ultimate round being thrown in. Fnatic putting everything to make sure they get into the site. And, well, it has worked pretty damn well.
あのバイパーマジで弱いな。マジで相手のバイパーマジでうんこだからこれ助かってるだけでさ。中身負けてないなんか。大丈夫これ。相手のバイパーうんこだから勝ってるだけじゃないこれ。マジで煽りとかじゃなくて。
They've had maybe a few slip ups here and there versus pistols, but in the buy round, miracle round, they're a few aggressive, more like pistol, some more Fnatic. In
the very. I'm excited. Do you know what I'm most excited for?
もうだってワンウェイだから突っ込んできてそのまま打ち合って勝ってるよ。
That's it, because I have my ideas of what that agent can do, but when you see some of these guys, they're able to surprise.
もうそれで打ち負けてたらもうお前いつ勝てんねんって感じだから今。
I think I'm more scared of Angel. Yeah. Like, I think Angel on a KO, he just goes, no abilities for you, and just runs through and headshots everyone. Carcass aggression though. It pays off initially.
あー止められたー終わったーあーあー
off the back of the sniper, and this time they're a little bit more prepared for Durka.
はあそれ200回級それ200回級そうだね間違ったかお嬢それ。
Well, Tom, I've got some great news as well.
I've
managed to rig up a setup here, so I can actually hear the game now, and I'm very happy. I'm very happy.
なんか俺強いチームが好きなんだけどさ。
All the fun stuff that goes with it.
俺応援し始めると弱いんだよな。
None of the fault of any of Mitch's issues has been down to the production.
Oh yeah,
solely down to you.
I don't know what it is. My PC has decided today that
everyone else's is fine.
It doesn't want to live. I don't know what's happening, but it is what it is. Gonna have to have a little rebuild of it in a little bit, but for now, we're gonna take a look. Rory's op shot rings out. Music to my ears. 5-1 in the scoreline. Fnatic looking very good. And Mystic tagged up at the very beginning of this round. No one's able to pop him a heal, so he's gonna have to deal with that, unfortunately, for the rest of this round. That's a shame because this pretty much discounts. Like it might seem like a trivial point, but he can't use his like on 35 HP. That is a waste of an ultimate. One bullet through the smoke, and you were gone.
これやばそう。
Both teams actually going for information plays at almost identical times. The site completely smoked, but it's this man again. Carcass's operator being a huge difference within this series. Aggressive plays. Being a huge difference within this series. Aggressive plays. Now, Side has been caught there a multitude of times. Like that aggressive play just hasn't been working out from again. We're going to see the strike to actually try and deny the rotations, but Pico's doing a good job of holding on to one. So it is. It's Carcass once more. He's found himself 3 already for the second time. They've won 2 rounds.
もうなん疲れたん1試合目どうしたん何そのピック何そのピック
And they've spotted him coming back as well. Zeke's finger is on the trigger, ready.
そうだよね。殺しに行くわ。そうだわ。
No way he gets there in time. This is the end of the round, and a second on the board for Wave.
Yeah, would have have needed actually a few more seconds to be able to get that. Now he will earn a little bit extra.
お金ちょうだい。
So it's not the end of the world. It is an ultimate orb. You might be thinking, oh well, what's the point? But it's a little bit.
今の設置するのもよくわかんないけど
Look
な。
at that scoreboard right now for Wave.
That's ridiculous. It's actually insane. Carcass is such a good player. And you know, you've been ranting and raving about
無
this
理や
guy
ん
since
それ
the
は。
start of Valorant. All I hear whenever I see Wave is playing.
まあまあ
oh,
2ラウンドだから。
I know Carcass. I was speaking to Carcass. You gotta.
Hey, I
まだ
casted
2ラウンド
his
だからって言うけ
I
ど
think his first CS:GO
マジで
round
相手の
victory.
バイパーがうんこなだけやん。これもっとラウンド落としてるでしょ。あ、いい、そう。
No,
当たってなく
I'm
ね
the hipster. I'm the hipster of Carcass plays.
当たってなくねフォルトライン。
Before it was cool, like, you know, but nowadays, like, now he's popular.
Oh, look at that
I'm not
3K
even
from
interested
Roberta.
anymore.
Yeah, I said Robertus. That's Carcass's real name. I know him.
I call him Rob.
Robbie boy in with a 3K. Look at him go.
What
in all
I am
fairness,
te-
though, Carcass, he's come a long way, man. And you know, I always knew that he
いい
was
よ
a decent player, but you're right.
オペレーター警戒して 絶対見ろよ絶対見ろよ見ろや
That's the spike drop right at his feet. This could be a big play if he can manage to find that second kill on long. And with Zeke on the backside, he is
したらば
コナン
85番さん。
勝つな
CEO の船木も弱い時も強い時も
勝つなお前ら
雑に押しだったしもう
お前ら
から
負けとけ
とした
ここ
back up and put 3
負
on
け
the
と
board
け
for Wave. It's a nice little comeback for them, and the scoreboard starts to look
いや見ないなら
a little bit less ridiculous.
見ないなら
although still pretty top
見
heavy.
ないなら
393.
もうスモークの張り方はそれではないんじゃん
You know what's
393
funny?
ACS.
ない
Magnum
し
has 4 kills.
そこにいて負けるな
I'm
ら
fairly sure he got 2 of those with
もう無理よ ダブルピックするとかフラッシュ入れるとかそこにいたら負けるけど行くしかねえってお前もう成り立ってないやん作戦としてそこにいたらいやもうなお前負けとけお前らそこにいたらダメな作戦はもう無理よ何して何して何して何して何して何してああーこれバックステップミスかこれはいいこれはいいよオービタルストライクこれはいいよオービタルストライク出てきて死んだやつはよくわかんない相手のブリムストーンやばくね相手のブリムストーンとバイパーダブルでやばくねもしかして
Yeah, this would be, I think, his first kill on the board if he can get it done, and there it is.
あいいよ
Let's see what else he's got up
いい
his
よ
sleeve now.
よくねえよ
Something to work with, but here's the Viper's Pit. Mystic couldn't use it
あ
earlier
はいはいはい
on, but now it's active and
そう
Yuri's
もう使って
down.
こゲジラーズ
Numbers starting to
の方や
dwindle
けど
over on the Wave side.
お前負けるよ甘え
Control
たら
into this side is pretty much non-existent.
セイダー君
Wouldn't
残っ
be
てくれてる
surprised
から
to see a save being called, but it
負け
looks
ないけ
like
ど
they still want to send it and try to make this one happen. Cider sneaks into the Viper's Pit.
も
There's
うイン
the
で
kill.
インで抜かれてるけど
Now has no Viper's Pit. It falls down, opening the side up completely. But the
インなんかワン
post
チャンある
is
流
strong.
れだけど
They're going to be able to play from back. I think they have a molly on the way. Indeed, it's just landed, pushing Cider off it. They try to force the duels instead.
ナイスナイスナイ
But
ス
now, all of Wave are dead. It will be another on the board for Fnatic 6 as they guarantee themselves
ハイ
at least
パー
an
は合わないん
even
だ
half.
けど
But knowing how they like to play,
元
here
々投げた
online,
積みのシチュエーション前
how
詰め
comfortable
して
they
たあ
are,
ったのか
how
な今
good they are. You can't help but feel like that number is going to increase by the end
一
of
応あ
the
ったのかな大丈夫
It's actually really interesting though that we are now
なく
seeing
ね
Doma a couple of times using that open to
First from down, opening the side up completely, but the post plan setup is strong. They're going to be able to play from back. I think they have a molly on the way. Indeed,
この
it's
時
just
点で燃え始めるでしょ今ファースト回でしょ
landed,
100% 勝って
pushing
るじゃん
Cider off it. They tried to play from
まあ
back.
全
I
て
think
死
they
んど
have
る
a molly on the way. Indeed, it's
これあれ
post
かでも
plan setup is strong. They're going to be able to play from back. I think they have a
いらなく
molly on the way. Indeed, it's just landed, pushing Cider off it. They
でも
try to force the duels instead. But
ああいやでも
indeed,
そっかブリ
the
ムス
post
トー
plan
ン
setup
が
is strong. They're going to be able to play from back. I
なるほ
think
ど
they
ね
have a
あブリ
molly
ム
on
ス
the
トー
way.
ンが
Indeed, it's
これ
just
投げる
landed,
ために
pushing
前詰め
Cider off
て
it.
死んでるのか
No, you can only
納得したわ
though that we are now seeing Doma a couple of times using that open to strike just to clear those aggressive angles because of how annoying those plays have actually been.
上から通すもと確かに体入れるとね止められるんだよねだからあんま良くないでしょ
Lamps is really hard to escape. Let's just stick it on Lamps. That position is clear, and then we go push it into the side. This is aggressive from Wave though. They've just used the ult straight down mid, and they're actually peeking and holding into that aggressive angle. but eventually,
なんか
I
す
was
ごい
gonna say they decided to give it up, but it seems like Zik has not.
めっちゃなそうそうそうそう
Oh yeah, no, he's fighting for it. But Durka down. We're in a spot for Fnatic.
こういう
Low
状態に
HP
な
on
ると
Durka
エリア
out
の
of the
取り直し
round.
できないのか
You know, you're again thinking
Oh,
about how to
lucky.
deal with Carcass. Well, they've done that.
ラッキーではないの
Bowman
今
just pre-fires him as he comes around the
銃先
corner,
見えて
popping
の
a
ヘッド
quick
か
headshot
いい
to
ね
even up the numbers. Now Fnatic, they had focused or wanted to focus on this B site, but it looks like there's going to be a change of plans and change of direction. Instead, taking that TP over and shifting their way through a middle.
それ成り
I do
立
wonder
つ
though, it doesn't look like
それ
they're
成り
full committed
立
to
つ
A
の
just
か
yet.
アス
As
ト
they
ラだ
sneak
から
on
成り立つ
through,
の
being
か
very, very conscious of one of the
成
Wave
り
players
立つ
having
のそれ
pushed up in the early round, but Wave have no read. They don't know that there was a full B control. They don't know anything that was going on, so they're left in a 2v2 waiting to play reactionary again.
30
So going to
seconds
see
left.
Magnum take a little bit of a tag. Cider now realizing that they're
そ
coming
うだよ
through.
ね
Boast has done well to catch off these players through the
動き
Bartons, and he
弱
will
こいつ
do
マジ
so
で
once again. The plant already coming through. Magnum with the sneaky play through is
あの
already going to
バイ
pick
パ
up
ー動
another.
きやば
A
く
good
ねマジで
execute from Fnatic.
一人でバロラントや
Piecing
ってん
things
じゃ
together. And Zik, last man standing. 1 versus 4. I think this Nebula might actually be the death of him. He's hoping to try and find something. The Trace is coming through, and Doma, he's been so good over the last few rounds. High impact frags, orbital strikes
Eh?
on point, and he's almost earned another one, Mitch.
んわかんない
Not too shabby. And considering the impact that orbital strike has
わかん
had,
ない
I think it's I don't know, bind in particular
わかりません
was going to be a
この
a
ゲー
good
ム
thing
俺
And Zik,
こんなんリテイクでいいんじゃないのだっ
to
て
play
常
react
識に
to
考え
full
て
B control. They don't know anything that was going on, so they're left in a 2v2 waiting to play react.
リテイクでいいっていうかさなんかもう
They don't know
リテイ
anything
ク
that was going on,
は
so
良
they're
くないん
left
だけど本来なんて言うんだろう
in a 2v2
以上マジ
waiting
よくわか
to
ん
play
ない
reactionary again.
でもこれもよくわかんないもうこのくだりがまず謎じゃん
Anything that was going on, so
で
they're
こんなん
left
さでこれ投げた瞬間にさもうフォルトライン打っときゃいいじゃん
in a 2v2 waiting
そしたらここにいるやつ絶対死ぬじゃん
to play reactionary again.
いやもうこの合わせない意味よくわかんないし
30
so going to
seconds
see
left.
Magnum take a little bit of a tag. Cider now realizing that they're coming through. Now, Boast has done well to catch off these players
ここマジインプでしょ
through realizing that
Oh,
they're
no.
coming through. Now, Boast
ここ入った意味がよくわかんない
has done well to catch off these
はいこれね見てなかったの残りの残量
players through the bathrooms, and he
そうだよねこれランプのブリーチのカバーしようとしたわけじゃないよね
will do so once again. The plant already coming through. Fnatic
いやもう意味わからん
Always
もう意味わかんないよこのゲー
a
ム
bit of a different approach this time around.
なんコードの読み合いなのこれは
They're looking at a pretty fast A hit, which is the correct read on this one. There's a lot of the presence from Wave. It was on B. Now it's up behind them actually. Because look at this. Nico's already
It's so-
basically a few meters
降りて抜け
away
た
from
Oh,
joining the
smart.
squad, but he's gone.
これエコなんで言ってんの
I think they realized with all the utility that was used there to delay that the likelihood is there was some sort of push. Okay. Murray's at least been able to fire one. Don't know if it's going to make a difference in the round victory. Doma again, we know that he's only one away from utility that would pretty much end this round in his tracks, and they don't even need it. 8 to 3.
わからんのやけどいやもうまあ俺が悪いのかもしれんけどとにかく設置中そんな抜かれるゲームなの設置きついよ設置きついゲームなのはわかるけどスモー
マジですまんが。これってどのレベルの大会なの？
世界大会の予選でフナティックが世界2位です
If you look at the context of the rounds that they've won, Tom, as you said earlier, you know, two of
まだよくわかんないんだけどいやこのシーンも
the basically
タラバ
今のシーンもさ
86番さん。
あこれ
DIRE2 か
joining the
これもさ
squad, but he's
あ
gone.
設置がおめえなの
I think they realized with all the utility that was used there to delay that the
よくわかんこれ何これ
I think they realized with all the
なんでスモーク1個残したのこれ
タラバ87番さん。やはりを遊戯会している。
スモークさなんか別になんかどこでもいいから貼りゃよかったんじゃないのこれこの縦のラインで撮ってんじゃんまだよくわかんねえのが縦のラインで撮ってんのここの何 この相場のから右側のラインを全部取るってスモークの張り方してんだけど、これシャワーに誰もアクセスしてないから、いるかいないか分かんないじゃん。でもいるかいないか分かんないいいんだけど、カバーせいやっていう。これだって5人いるんでしょだってフナティックが。ミスティックのさ、これベイト入れてもいいしさ。なんだこれ。いやもうマジで意味わからん。マジで意味わからん。いや、このタイミングだってランプ死んでたらこのラウンド落としてるぜ。言っとくけど。エコだけど、このタイミングでなんかランプかなんか攻められて、なんかまあ武器差で勝てるはずだけど、シェル一発頭もらいましたとか言って、以上ランプ怖くねってなるじゃん。で、そこ残り1個でしょ？消したやつ今から使えますみたいな。で、今ここでリテイクでさ、ワンウェイここに貼ってんじゃん。ここからリテイク来てんじゃん。当然ここから対応するしかないじゃん。でもこれさ、ランプ取られてたらさ、ここから挟まれる形になるわけでしょこれ。ここ。で、武器持ちがさ、このスモークの奥からスモーク抜きなりさ、なんかスモーク抜けとかしてきたときさ、対応で絶対勝てないじゃん。いや、まあその辺は結果論なんだけど、いや、その前提に至らないようにせいやっていう。ね、角曲がって頭一つ抜かれたとかは、もうこれしょうがないよ、それって。でも、けど、なんか設置されてる時に抜かれて、なんかやばいみたいなのは、もうチームのタクティクスとして間違ってるやん。完全に。それだって、作戦の穴とかいうレベルではなくない？お前らの位置関係おかしいじゃん。で、それでなんかフナティック側が1人欠けてたとかで、そこのなんか、穴を埋めるのに、ちょっとなんかミスコミュニケーションがあったとかだったら、まあみたいな。そんなんあってほしくないんだけど、正直。そんなくだらないこと言うなって感じなんだけど、今の状態、フナティック5人残ってるのにそれやってるから、お前プーチン。またなんかスパイク落としてない？土着とアルティメット使うやん。B 行くんでしょ？行く？頑張って。そうだね、B 行くよね。でも俺でもわかる、いやもう俺でもわかる。知ってる。わかる。浅いよ、それは。いや、B 行くんだろうなと思って。
今のそんな興奮する場面か？
興奮はするけど、もう俺は冷めた目で見てるから、もう B 行くんやろうなと思ったわ。これはウェーブ側のいいプレーではあるけど、いや、フナティックファンボーイのから俺からすれば、それもう B 行くんやろって感じだったわ。B まあ B 行って、なんか、いやもうさ、いやもう冷めた目でしか見れんって。おい、負けんなや。いやわからん。もういっそ負けて反省した方がいいかもしれんぞお前ら。ピストルぐらい取れよ。8-4の試合とは思えないわ。まあフレンチ。
There's no flank either. They're all coming in from similar directions. The aftershock might help them a little bit with clearing some of these angles. Boaster though not winning the.
俺はダブルピーが強い。
Going strong with the pistol and
天皇かお前ら。
He is going to help get some help, I should say. The aftershock clearing the angle at least.
俺はアフターショックが強い。
To 5 HP, it leaves Durka to do the heavy lifting, but that's what he does best. Set him up, put him in position, and watch him roll through these rounds. This time, no Carcass is there to shut him out. It's going to be left all on to Magnum. And as said, he was far too low.
Round that was much needed here, Tom. Putting 5 on the board for Wave. I feel like this is the start of something. Start of the comeback, perhaps. And Fnatic. I'd be interested to see. I presume they'll take an eco here. I can head first at them, but in this situation, I think it's the wise choice to just play with those classics.
They've got enough of an advantage anyway. Unless they're going to lose to the bonus, it might not matter. Again, we're seeing both teams very aggressive. Now in these sort of rounds, there's little to no risk, and actually Magnum is already going to be able to pick off one. The thing is, though, they do check for Boaster, and that was the important kill. If he gets one here, you feel like it might all be over. Now I feel like the teleport push is almost just to distract. Like, okay, yep, keep focusing on me. I've made a nice amount of noise.
No care.
Pushing from long. It means that they get a couple of kills, which in these sort of rounds, that's what you're hoping for. It's not a miracle play, it's not a victory, but you're gonna force a few.
カメラがなんであそこ映さなかったかわかんないけど、まあまあまあ。
Whatever it was. At 8 to 6. It's this Fnatic full buy up against waves. Well, I mean, we don't really call it a bonus at this stage, do we? They've got enough rifles in it.
これはどこの骨の馬かわからんチーム負けない？
That shock dart's nice. Oh, a little bit too shallow.
It is looking like almost all in on the A site. We're going to see the Molotov alongside a snake to try and clear the back. The problem is they haven't dealt with Durkee. He's going through. He's just pushing all the way in. Man is mad. But you know what? His teammates have cleaned things up anyway. It might have been what looked like a bit of. He's going through.
なんかさ、まあ一時期の GO でもあったんだけどさ、スモークの中のすれ違いすごいなこれ。スモークの中のすれ違いすごいなこのゲーム。まあまあまあまあ、今したらどうでもいいわ。よくわからなかった。率直に言うとよくわからなかった。
Medium buys. They've got rifles. They've got a lot of utility because they didn't need to use it in the
previous.
And then like a Spectre, a Guardian, and the Guardian doesn't get the reward it needed. At least the trade is there and Breach is down right off the bat.
おじいちゃんちょっとドローンにエイムがあってるけど。
Something to be feared. And so it's nice to see that they're not going to be in this round, at least for Wave it is. They'll be quite happy.
It's not the worst trade in the world either. Mostly considering the weapon and the utility that you lose off of Jet.
ああ、もうなんかどっちをすればいいか分かんなくなってきた。一回懲らしめてくれって言いたくなってきた。まあ9の6か。13本選手でよかったなおめえら。あ、そういけるやろ。目覚めちゃったよ。
A gravity well to pull them back if they do go pushing, but that takes information. And as of right now,
セイダーとかやつはうんこじゃなかった。マジで勝てなかったぞ。
That might actually buy them quite a lot of room because some of these guys can't actually run through, but Cider has still made it onto the site with the rolling thunder. Looks like he's just going to cut off any possibility of re-aggression in through lamps, but Mystic has gone elsewhere. Monster takes down Zeke, and with this, Fnatic are ahead. The TP will come through. Luckily, nobody's sneaking in with them, but Cider has managed to get behind enemy lines in another way.
なんで足を立ったんこいつ。
Giving away the fact that he's still here. He won't TP because he actually gets caught on the way through, leaving Nico all alone with a Guardian in hand and not much hope. Double digits now.
あのバイパーマジでやべえ。
Looking a little bit shaky here on the attack. The one good thing that we can look to is that ulti.
そんなんもうその作戦取ったんだからお前黙ってキル取るしかないやろ。
Round. He's definitely had his moments, although as said, just going
マジで意味わかんねえ。
be taking these aggressive peaks with that operator, which was what was
これは強かったね。
I also have to again give credit to Doma there.
もしかしてここさ、シャワーは何？もうなんか見ないの？もうシャワーに敵がいたら罪っていう作戦は流行りなのこれ？もしかして。もうそうなんとしたら俺が悪いわこれは。どういうこと？そういう何？流れなのこれは。
The snake bite that might actually buy them quite a lot of room because some of these guys can't actually run through, but Cider has still made it onto the site with the rolling thunder.
音聞こえたわけでしょこれ。
Cut off any possibility of re-aggression in through lamps, but Mystic has gone elsewhere. Wise to Muri's tricks. Boaster takes down Fnatic has gone.
なんで？
Looks like he's just going to cut off. Run through, but Cider is still might actually buy them quite a lot of room because some of these guys can't actually put off any possibility of re-aggression in through.
ボスター君シャワーにワープ式突っ込んでくるのガン無視やん。
Mystic has gone elsewhere. Wise to Muri's tricks. Boaster takes down Zeke. And with this,
level. マジよくわかんない。
slows everything down, and that then gives Boast the time to get into position and takes down the second player. All of it was about wasting as much time as they could, and that's exactly what they did.
Oh my, what has just happened? I've just gotten destroyed, little
もうやだー、何これこれまだエコやろ、ウェーブ側の。ウェーブ側のエコで、フナティックがハンターズフューリーぶっ放して、それを咎められなかったと。もうよくわかんない。もう怖いもん。カバーはいいけど、お前。リスキーすぎひん。リスキーすぎひん。マジで。Thank you, Boost.
It definitely seems like maybe Brimstone is a little bit heavy for that. Like, I feel like Mystic is going to have a few problems, but...
88番さん、この試合に何を期待しているの？
バロラントトップレベルやろ、これ。やだー。なんか日本の大会レベル高いように見えたんだけどな、バロ。これに勝てないわけですよ、結局。よくわかんないな。よくわかんなくなってきたね。あー、えぐい。それはえぐいじゃん、マグナム君。あ、それは強い。その返しはもうティア1。その返しはティア1。その返しはティア1。素晴らしい。その返しはティア1。いや、決めてくれ。本当に。バシッといこうぜ。13の6ダブルスコアだよ。ボッコじゃないですか。なんなの？いや、こういうゲームなのかな？俺の認識がもう間違ってんの？多少の運ゲーはあんのこのゲーム。要は。そういうことでしょだってでも言ってんのは。ここは見なかったものにするみたいな。そういうところはもう運要素で負けるとこは負けるってことなんでしょ？でしょだって言ってることは。いや間違ってないでしょ俺。ある程度運ゲー要素は許容してると。相手詰めてきたらしょうがないなみたいな。
したらば89番さん、GO で目が超えてるというか基準が GO になるからじゃないの？ GO ほど戦術もプレイヤーも完成型に近くないんじゃない？
じゃなくて、俺から言わせればだよ。俺が言わせれば、でも GO の初期とかも別にこの伝わなかったかもしれないけど、でもさ、プロなんだから仕上げてこいやっていう。常識的に考えて。俺厳しい目で見るよ。あ、俺はね、俺はフナティックが好きだから厳しい目で見るよって話。単純に。バロアンチとかじゃなくて。負けんなよ。さらっと負けとんねんお前ら。決まるわけないやん。
flawless victory for Wave. The only thing is, it still feels like eventually Fnatic are going to get this over the line. And I think the main thing I want to talk about with Wave is they just need to get off to some better starts. Like,
今のとかさ、完成形じゃないとかじゃなくてさ、言うと、じゃあ、フナティックさん、まあここまでのセットアップの形に対してのアプローチはいいよ。ポスターが裏取り行って、この一緒裏ついて相馬とかないねんこれだって。これ行ったり来たり。これ何これ？何この相場？ここまでだってポスター攻めてるわけじゃん。でワンチャンまだ B あるよ一応。一応ね、これショートからワープもあるけど、あるし。ここにいる必要性ないわけじゃん。 ちゃけボスターのカバーしたいならそれでいいけど、でもさ、ボスターがここまで行ってさ、ないって言った時点でさ、もうこれ全力で走れや CT 側に。なんでうろついとんで、こう入られてんじゃん。で、今 B のポイントでしょ、この相場。このカバクソ遅いじゃん。で、残り時間30秒設置でしょ。で、裏からボスター来て、一応形としては囲めてる状態でしょ、これ。ここボスター出るの早くしてるんでしょ。これも意味不明なんだよ、ミスコミュニケーションとして。もうプーチンだよね、これ。結局さ、ボスターが裏から詰めてんじゃん。で、ここまだ
雰囲気でバロラントやってますね。
で、ここでまだ、ここでスモーク狩られてんの、ここのラインに。グリムストーンの。もう狩られてんの。だから、これフナティックス、ウェーブサイドからすれば、ここのライン全然ケアしなくていいじゃん。ここからスモーク願いでほとんどしてこないじゃん。で、してくるなら設置してる最中にしてくるはずじゃん。スモーク抜け。で、まあ、この後の即リテイクゼロじゃないけどさ、そりゃ。5on3 シチュエーションだから絶対ゴリ出んじゃん。で、当然裏ケアするわけじゃん。こっちからのカバーないんだからさ。一応ヘブンからのケアは必要だけどね。で、帰ってくわけじゃん。で、ここ顔出して死んでるわけじゃん。これ意味がわからないでしょ、これ。これ何これ何の勝てたとしてもだよ、これボスター。勝てたとしてもさ、3-4-5なんだからさ、ここで勝負したって1万%さ、カバー来るじゃん、相手の。セイダー倒すとしてもさ、セイダーの横のブリーチに絶対倒されてんだよ、これ。こんなん 3-4-5 勝つ戦術じゃないじゃん、まず。ここでフナティックのドマン抜けてくるでしょ、ようやく。このタイミングでいけや。せめて。それが無理なら、レイン下げろや。これ 2on4 で何やるかと思ったら、スモーカーってぶっぱ解除だろ。通るわけがないやん、こんなん。やる気あんのかよ。マジで。隠した相手に戦術見せたくないっていう可能性はある。一応ある。で、12の6でダブスコアついてるから、一応ある。戦術見せたくないっていうのは一応あるっていう、まあフォローはしておこう。これ何やねんこれ。こんなん俺に見せんなや。ならセーブしろやっていうか。だって、じゃあ、常識的に考えてだよ。マジ俺こんなこと言いたくないけど、2-on-4 シチュエーションからショートにいや、ちょっと、いや、もうほんと待ってくれや。で、ここで目合ってるわけやろ、だってここで。ランプに1人いるの確定してるやん。で、ここでショート方面にモルトフ焚いてるから、一応あっち側のカバーはしづらいっていう気持ちはわかるよ。けどシャワー側も取ってもう通るわけがないやん。いやマジでムカつく。戦って相手の金削れや。ムカつく。イライラする。だってさ、試合の流れとしてさ、お前ら勝ってさ、来てんだからさ、ここで相手の金削ればさ、ある程度のお金相手辛くなるわけやん。なんでぶった解除やねん。通るわけがないやん、そんなん。そんなんだから G2 とかクソクランに足元救われんだよ。マネーコントロールとか考えろや。こんな、だからさ、俺バロラントやってないに対して、やってない、俺がさ、ちょっと考えたら分かるようなことなんだからさ、チームとして連携が完成されてないとかじゃなくてさ、こんなこと突っ込ませんねよ、俺に。マジで。いや、それだけなんだよね。 別になんか細かい連携とかは正直しょうがないと思う。クロスファイアパッと取れないとか、ぶっちゃけいやそんな細かいこととか、これとかフナティックが突っ込んでって、これでなんか死ぬとか、どっちが死ぬか分かんないけどさ、この後なんかまあ誰こいつダークが死ぬとか、でもしょうがないと思うよ。いや詰めてって死にましたみたいな。いやもう別にエリア取り行って死んだらしょうがないんじゃないとか、まあいろいろあると思う。けど、マネーコントロールとかさ、なんかそれ俺が分かってなんかもうなんでこうジャンプしてピークして死んどるんとかさ、ジャンプしてピークして死んでるわあれか、なんだっけさっきやったの。いやもうなんかしょうもないフェイクに引っかかったりさ、いやもうなんかもうそういうなんかもうちょっと考えたら分かる、引っかからんでくれや。So never mind, that ultimate isn't going to play a part, but they haven't cleared the lamps, never mind. Zik comes through as the last man to find that player. お前らまさか。
したらば90番さん。AP 民の次は VAL を民を敵に回すか、VIO さんさすがっす。
もうちょっとワンチャンね。
I mean, for a 1v3, yes, two of those players were one hit. They were super, super low, so it's not as clear cut as it could have been otherwise. But still,
お前らワンチャンあるんか。
that was a bit scary. A lot of 1v1 fights offered up.
なんで GG してる。
したらば91番さん。なんで GG してるん。
なるほど。エンターテインメントを分かってるフナチクさん。そういう。
There's just no end to it. And the lack of an
そういうやつで
operator
すか。
for the most part.
わからん。マジでわからん。俺が悪いんか。もう死ぬなや、ピークして。いや、まあこれはしょうがないわ。これはしょうがないわ。これはそれはあんまりだわ。それはあんまりだったわ。
したらば92番さん。TV 用に盛り上げてる。
なんか死んでる。
This Phantom as deadly as any gun you can find. Already putting them into a 4 versus 4, but the push isn't stopping. They are still going into A.
あ、このセットやべえ。これ負けるぞお前らマジで。マジでいかんと負け。うんこ。いいぞ。はい勝ち。よかったなバカども。あ、真面目。真面目。勝負いくね。まあいいや、勝負いってもいいわ。今のは。今勝負いってもいいわ。よかったな。ここは頑張ったわ。お前らここは頑張ったわ。お前らここはよう頑張ったわ。お前らここはよう頑張った。正直このラウンド負けると思ったわ。ここはお前らうまかったわ。何が起きたかよくわからんけど。これでもハンターのヒューリーでぶっ放ちして当たっただけじゃない？なるほど。なるほどね。それは強いね。それ強いね。それは強いじゃん。なるほどね。お前できんじゃん。見えてないかでもこれ。いや多分そうだろう。Welcome to my world って言ってるけど、ぶっぱじゃね？どうだろう。いや俺思ったのがここ。
君のお母様から電話だ。
これポスターが
船の ILG 機能してるの？
ポスターがさ、ポスターこのラインいなかった。確定させたじゃん。ポスターこのラインいないのなんかちょっと怪しいけど見えてるのか。このラインいないの確定させてるから、多分なんかショート方面に多いっていう話をしたのかなと思って。でもこれおかしくない？ちょっと待って、これ運良かっただけじゃない？でもそんなことないか。いやそっか。いやそんなことないな。多分。でもそんなことあるんじゃない？いやないな。でこれでシャワー2確定だわ。ここそうね、ここシャワー2確定してて、でスカイがキルログ流れた後にそうね。
したらば94番さん。設置妨害？
ゴリで前出ようとしてるのかわかんないけど。 エッジ妨害っていうか、わかんない。いや、これはもう言わんとっか。いや、ぶっちゃけで言うと、Welcome to my world 言うてさ、思ったやん。シャワー側の設置だったらこれさ、無理だったんじゃね？設置音してなくない？設置しようとしたのこれまず。なんか設置しようとしてた感じじゃないんだよな、ここ。これショート側にぶっ放って当たっただけじゃない？やだー、これわかんない。これあった？ショート側に打つ理由あった？ぶっ放っただけお前、これもしかして。やだ、なんか理由あるよね、これ。多分あると思う。なんでシャワー側設置怪しいな、これ。これぶっぱ当たっただけなんじゃないのこれ。あ、いやでも車線的に、いやでもここにしか当たんないな。まあでもこれ1人か2人に当たればいいやって思って打ったらめっちゃいたって感じか。いやまあいいと思う。いいと思う、それは。ただね、通覚してたから、これ設置妨害に打ったわけではないですね、ちなみに。設置入る前だったんで。まあこれ2人以上いるっぽいっていう話で、でも相手もやってることうまいんだよな。いやこれ多分さ、シャワー側から出てくの多いってバレてるからさ、ここ抜けられるときついからって言ってさ、こいつちゃんとわざわざシャワーから出てこっち側に行って、ここのスモーク抜けのちょっと膨らましてんのムカつくな。これなんで膨らんでんのこのスモーク。言ってんだよね。まあよく取ったわ。ここはよく取った。お前ら。ナイス。何時 ?2 時だ。疲れたな。これシーブスとかの試合これよりひどいんでしょ？T1 オートマティックとかいるじゃん。どうなんだろう。カドゥードル。T1 このラウンドだけ見せて。あ、これあれだわ。これピストルだわ。これだけ見せて。これ見たら寝るわ。いや、でも俺はフナティックのファンボだから、見る目が厳しいのはマジであると思う。マジで。マジでね、厳しいから。5の時もそうだったもん。何したお前らっつって言いながら見てたから。もう B3 守りだけど、これ通らなくない？でしょうね。バチクソゴリアン。この的も普通。バチクソ普通。なんで勝ったのかは謎。
Victor, he just wants the right click up close, but not going to be able to find anything. Instead, it's Braxton Skadoodle just holding down the Yang. And yeah, that's the end of the round. Very easy post plan, and if anything, mid plant.
まあいいか。まあいいや。コメントがないってことにしとこう。はい。じゃあ、出ます。疲れたね。なんで疲れたんだろう。はい。じゃあ、出ます。出ます。フナティックほんとさ、フナティック勝てる気しないんだけど、なんだろうな。いやでも作戦ケチってんのかな。いや、作戦ケチってる可能性マジである。さすがにあれはひどい。 作戦ケチってるっぽくはある。あるあるなんだよね。で地方予選の大会やろ、要は。結局さ、そこで研究されちゃうと、決勝とか準決とかガチの大会の国際大会で使おうと思った時に、バレちゃうんだよ。だ優勝取りに、ガチ優勝取りに行くために、作戦隠してるのあると思う。マジで、マジで。ガチでずっと本気でいると、普通に勝てなくなるから、優されて。いや、まあそうでしょ。出ます。出ます。